Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. For the first time this season, the 10th-ranked Ohio State women's basketball team has taken back-to-back losses. Buckeyes fell at Minnesota last night, 74-61. Ohio State still 22-5 overall, 11-4 in Big Ten play. They'll play USC Sunday at the Shot with 2 games remaining after that. The Ohio State men's squad looks to make it 2 wins in a row. The Buckeyes beat number 24 Wisconsin back on Tuesday. They'll play at number 15 Michigan State Sunday at 1. It's the 16th day of Winter Olympic competition. Team USA women's hockey has Canada this afternoon in the gold medal game. Face-off is 1:10. The U.S. men's hockey team battles Slovakia tomorrow at 3:10 in the semifinals. Team Canada has Finland tomorrow morning in the other semi. Canadian captain Sidney Crosby suffered a lower body injury in the quarterfinals. Canada says Crosby is day-to-day. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best local credit union for the last 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit bmifcu.org to learn more.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy.
Good buddy, Austin Ward.
My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show.
The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. We will open up that email bag coming up at 10 o'clock. Mr. Finebaum going to join us at 10:30 as is customary, and Aaron Portzline will join us at 11:30. 2 thrillers last night, yesterday rather, on the ice. Canada and USA as both move one step closer to what we hope is an inevitable gold medal game on Sunday morning between those 2 hockey powerhouses. So we'll get into all of that as the program goes along. Lots of fun along the way. I did want to start here, though. Last night, Thad Matta picked up career win number 500. He is coaching at Butler. He's in his 4th year over there. It's been a struggle. They do not have the NIL investment, as Dan Hurley talked about last week when he had some effusive praise for Thad, that is required to compete in college basketball at this day and age. And so the wins simply aren't there. I'm not one who believes that Thad forgot how to coach. Certainly don't think that that's the case. But of his 500 wins, 337 of them happened here. Thad Matta went 337 and 123 during his time here. It was 150 and 78 in Big Ten play. The overall winning percentage, obviously, well into the 70%. It's nearly a 70% win percentage in Big Ten play as well. He reached 5 Sweet 16s, 2 Final Fours, 3 Elite Eights, 1 number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Another time they were the number 1 seed as well. 5 times they won the Big Ten championship. 4 times they were Big Ten tournament champions. 3-time Big Ten Coach of the Year while he was here. I said this when he was here. It resonates and matters more now. That was the golden age of Ohio State basketball. That was it. That was the stretch. 337 and 123. That was the run. Did they win a national title? No. Played for one, got to another Final Four. Probably his best team was bounced by Brandon Knight in Kentucky in Newark, New Jersey. They were the number 1 overall seed, and that was kind of the one matchup that was tricky for them because Kentucky had a lot of length. But that was probably his best overall team, was that team that did not reach the Final Four. The most dynamic team, obviously, was Connolly and Oden and everything that happened there. How did that happen? Is it repeatable? My hunch is no. That it is not repeatable, that level of excellence is not something that can be attained by Buckeye basketball, because there is nothing in its history to prove that it can be. There just isn't. There's not a run like that. There is the early 60s Fred Taylor run with Havlicek and Lucas, and that is a remarkable run. There's the mini Jimmy Jackson run when Jimmy was here and he elevated. Jim O'Brien had a nice little run with Scooney and Mike Redd. Obviously, Clark was here in the early 80s, and that was a special time. But in terms of that level of sustained run, it's never happened before, and it's never happened since. So how did it happen? Well, there were a bunch of factors. Number one, you caught lightning in a bottle with that. brilliant young coach, a ton of energy, who could recruit like a madman. You had elite Ohio talent, elite, that you kept in-house. You got to remember this. Northland High School was the #1 ranked high school team in the country when Sullinger was there. But it wasn't just that. All Ohio Red was the #1 AAU program in the country when Sullinger played for them. So not only did you have the best high school basketball team in the country in your town, you also had the best AAU program in the country in your state. And it was a feeder. And they got Jared, and the rest of it followed. So there was that part of it. There was elite regional talent. Connolly and Odner from Indianapolis. Deshaun Thomas is from Indiana. So there was this elite Evan Turner from Illinois. There's this elite regional talent that he was able to pull in. How was he able to do it? Well, he was an incredible recruiter. He's a great coach. But beyond that, there were two other factors that I think are pretty critical to that run. Do you know who the coach at Kentucky was during this time? It was the end of Tubby Smith, and then they hired a guy named Billy Gillespie. And Kentucky basketball fell off a cliff. After Billy Gillespie was fired, they hired a guy named John Calipari. And if you line up the greatness of the Ohio State run juxtaposed to Kentucky down and John Calipari hiring, you start to see the fall. But it's more than that. It's more than that. We missed on some Ohioans. We missed on Trey Burke. That one stung, man. He was in town, and they missed on him. They missed on a kid like Luke Kennard. That was a kid in a previous generation you probably would have got and missed on him, and he chose to go to Duke instead. So you started to see that slip. There were other factors. Thad had a botched surgery, and so he couldn't travel. He did not want to get on planes and fly across the country to recruit. He didn't want to get on planes and fly across the country to be able to play in the Maui Invitational and those type of things. He had no interest in any of that because physically it was painful for him to do so. So there was that part of it that was a factor as well. And so when you think about where a basketball program is and what it can be at its best, most of you remember it. Most of you remember it. And there are a bunch of factors that led to what happened here during Thad's run, almost a perfect storm. And there are a bunch of factors that led to kind of the slipping off and the falling off. And I think sometimes we remember Connolly and Oden through Aaron Kraft and Deshaun Thomas their junior year where they got to the Elite Eight. You think of that run that was in there that included a National Player of the Year and 2 Final Fours and a National Runner-Up and all of that, and you think that is the run. But there's also the back end of that run where it's 4 consecutive 10-loss or more seasons, missing the NCAA tournament the last time. What happens if you just keep Thad? We'll never know. We'll never know. There is no question that momentum started to fade in the program. There were all sorts of misses in recruiting. The other thing that happened, though, was great assistants went on to get big jobs. John Gross went to Ohio, and then he became the coach at Illinois. He's now at Akron, and they're doing quite well. You think about Jeff Bowles down at Ohio. Lost him. The Miller boys, they were here. I mean, those staffs were elite. It was a perfect storm, and it is something that I think all of us are so appreciative looking back on it. You get a chance to reflect on it because Thad picks up 500 last night for Butler in a season where he's 14-13 and 5-11 in the Big East. But God, what a run. Is it something you should aspire to? Sure. Is it realistic to get back there consistently? I have my doubts, fellas.
Well, just as it was perfect person, perfect place, perfect time for his hiring and coming on at Ohio State, it was the exact same way, but inverse, when he was leaving, or in his departure from Ohio State, because you didn't know if he could make it through a season without having to take some time off. Like, I think about Terry Francona and kind of the end he had in Cleveland, where it was like, yeah, the results weren't, the results were still there, and you kind of had some faith based on what he'd done in his past, where you weren't ready to, at least I wasn't as a fan, ready to run Thad out of town, but I was like, man, it just looks so painful for him to walk across the court.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't imagine getting downstairs or getting upstairs or getting out of bed in the morning. And it's like, well, where's the enjoyment in anything if you can't enjoy just simple mobility?
Yeah.
And him taking the time off that he needed and then going back to Butler and the way he's just been able to return to coaching has been wonderful to see. And him getting Win 500 was awesome, but it's just like one of those things in all of sport, and everybody experiences it. Every fan base experiences, right person, right place, right time. And you go on that kind of generational run, and then everything else that happens makes you wish you could have that back, but for a fleeting moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's the window. It's the window conversation. Like I always go to Joe Burrow when he says my window's my career. I'm like, it sure isn't, buddy.
No.
It is not your whole career.
No.
Windows open and close, and sometimes in quicker fashion than the other.
Bo, you did a great job talking about some of Thad's accomplishments. 500 and 220, an 8-time conference champ, a 7-time tourney champ, 13 NCAA tournament appearances, 2 Final Fours, 5 Conference Coach of the Year awards, 3 of those coming in the Big Ten with Ohio State, and 5 All-Americans. I mean, that's a heck of a list of coaches.
Yeah.
And I think he's the 81st coach to win 500 in college basketball. It's interesting you talk about what if they had just kept Thad.
Yeah.
Butler's 14 and 13 this year, as you mentioned, 5 and 11 in the Big East. I don't know if it would have changed anything.
I don't know.
I really don't, because everybody mentioned the Thad's health issues and the surgery and all of that, and it just kind of derailed the way he coached. Thad was one of the most interactive coaches, getting out there on the floor with the guys and pushing them in practice and actually getting out there and physically playing with them in practice. And he couldn't do that anymore. And I think it changed the way he coached, and that was part of his identity, and he lost his fastball a little bit with that. So I don't know if it would have changed anything, but I do know one thing. I will always root for Thad Matta.
He's the best guy ever. That's one thing that you can say, and people sometimes bristle about it, but Thad was the best dude ever. Here's another little secret for you. So was Chris Holtman. He was a great guy. He was a great guy and won right away and had some wins in recruiting. But so, I think some of those factors that I listed, and by the way, so's Jake. Jake's a great guy. He's a great guy. And maybe he gets there. Maybe he gets to some portion of this greatness that we're talking about. These are massive things to try to attain when you're talking about these accomplishments. Massive things to be able to attain. But I do think some of these factors that are finite. I do think the Kentucky thing is a massive thing in the Thad success. If John Calipari is at Kentucky when Connolly and Oden are in Indianapolis High School, you're telling me he didn't get them at that time? Maybe Thad had those relationships. Maybe he was able to weather it. But Cal at Kentucky, once he got there, got everybody he wanted. You remember those recruiting classes? Top 5 players in the country, all to Kentucky? Because Krzyzewski wasn't doing it then. He wasn't doing one and done at Duke.
Yeah.
He didn't want those guys. He wanted the 4-year guys. Cal took all of them. I don't know. Who knows if it happens again? I'm glad it did, because it's one of the most enjoyable runs you're ever going to have. And it's something to aspire to, but I don't know if it's ever attainable.
Bo, you mentioned all the great coaches that Thad Matta had through his career at Ohio State. Remember, he tabbed Jake Diebler as well and wanted Deebs on his staff. I'm convinced Jake Diebler is going to be a very good college basketball coach. Yeah. I hope it's here. I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, nobody does, Bick. Nobody does. Because when you're trying to measure against that level of success, that is this window, to Reese's point, it is this window that came and went, and is it ever attainable again? We'll never, I don't know. It was such an incredible run, though, when it happened, and I'm happy for Thad that he was able to get it done. We are set up for what should be a pretty good next couple of days on the rink over in Italy. We will get to 2 thrilling games at the Olympics coming up next. We're off and running on a Thursday edition, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Birmingham Berm from the Austin and Berm Show here on 97.1 The Fan. I hit maintenance after dropping 35 pounds on Awaken 180, and I'm not going to pretend that I don't feel different, because this is the first time in a long time I've actually reached a goal that I set for my physical health instead of just talking about one, thanks to Awaken 180. I'm under 200 pounds for the first time in 25 years, and that's not a small thing. I didn't have to muscle my way there either. The Awaken 180 coaches walked me through it. Every adjustment, every tweak. They made it simple. Honestly, it was easier than I expected. This now feels like momentum. I'm in maintenance mode, and I'm not guessing. I can have pizza. I can have ice cream. All the things I used to love are back on my menu, but my metabolism is firing on all cylinders. The difference is my body doesn't crave it all the time. It was a mindset change and not a Band-Aid. That's the part that changes everything. If you've been circling the same goal for years, maybe you don't need more willpower. Maybe what you need is what I had, a plan, a coach, and a system that makes it easy. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Ready to supercharge your 2026? Level up to the Ford F-150 with 2.9% APR and $3,250 cash incentives. All credit fits. Capital Ford pre-qualifies you quickly. Why settle? Upgrade today at Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
The rings, the moment, the forever. Make it unforgettable. Join us February 27th and 28th for Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend. Enjoy preferred bridal pricing on wedding bands and engagement rings now up to 30% off. Visit Diamond Seller on Selma Road or at Easton Town Center.
Fall is the season of change, and Hinderer Motor Company is turning over a new leaf with big savings. This is Justin Hinderer. Right now, any one of our participating locations is paying up to $3,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. That's right. Drive in your current vehicle and leaf with one of ours today. Don't wait. The leaves are falling and so are the prices. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Jake Diebler's Buckeyes hit the road for a Big Ten battle with Michigan State.
Live fan coverage starts Sunday at noon.
Every game, every season. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are tracking mostly cloudy skies and highs up into the lower 60s here once again. However, we are also tracking some showers and thunderstorms developing here for this afternoon and evening. A few of those storms could be strong to severe, with some hail and wind being the primary threats here as we head into tonight. Windy and colder Friday coming our way, as highs will be in the 50s in the morning. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Darren White here on 97.1 The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, I had forgotten this point. The great Snagglepuss with this one. Case in point, Anthony Davis was committed to Ohio State, then Cal swooped in and took him, and we got Amir Williams. I forgot about
How do you think he got Anthony Davis? Just curious. Do you think like he...
Amir Williams, big-time recruit, though.
Sure. He was. He was a four-star kid, yeah. I mean, that was the other thing, is some of those kids just didn't get better. You know, there were those kids, like that Amir, Shannon Scott, LaQuinton Ross, Sam Thompson. There just wasn't the player development
Sam Thompson was one of the best athletes I think I've ever seen on a basketball court, but it just never translated.
Well, he had those dunks, and he just never. There was no real progression. I don't want to. The kid's not around. I mean, he's not. I hope he doesn't live here. I don't need to. He doesn't need to take strays in 2026. But he just didn't become. He was kind of the same player as a freshman as he was.
Yeah, they just weren't developed. That's not a knock. That's what happened.
It did.
The results speak for it.
Yeah, they did, and that was, that was one of the other things is you just did not get player development from point A to the final year. You just didn't see that type of growth that was happening maybe earlier on that didn't happen later on. I got to tell you, those were dicey games yesterday, both of them. Canada winning in overtime over Czechia 4-3, and then the United States needing overtime as well to win 2-1 over Sweden. There's a lot of layers to the Canada one with Marner scoring the game winner and the Crosby injury that happened in it as well. Team Canada head coach John Cooper on the Sid injury. Sid by no means ruled out of the tournament. We got the best of the best looking at him. We're taking this day by day. We're not going to put anyone in harm's way, but if he can play, he's definitely going to. We'll know more again in 24 hours. This is the great fear if you are ownership, right? And you see something like that. I mean, they're having a remarkable season, one nobody saw coming, and now all of a sudden their captain and one of their all-time greats, one of the all-time greats in the history of the sport, goes limping off and goes back, and you go, good Lord. But in the meantime, you're trying to chase immortality of winning a gold medal, and all anybody wants to see is USA, Canada, and you were pretty damn close to not getting it as both of those games went to overtime. Quinn Hughes scored the game winner for Team USA. Here he is after the feeling of winning after the goal that he put in the back of the net.
Yeah, just a relief. Just really enjoying being here with this group and the guys, and trying to extend it as long as I can.
Nervy moments, guys.
Relief was the right word.
That's it, right? I mean, we talked about this yesterday when Canada was down 2-1 while we were on air, and obviously the other one happened in the afternoon. But like when you're Team Canada, Team USA, and all of a sudden you're down or tied, you start clutching that stick pretty tight.
I couldn't imagine how the Canadian players felt, especially because they're supposed to win the gold all the time in their country, and then to not even medal. Like, I just can't even imagine how they felt, and they were down most of the time.
They were.
So that pressure on them just I couldn't even imagine it for those guys. And then the United States, man, that sure felt like I was watching a Blue Jackets game.
It did.
For a long time, where it was like, you guys got to get another score here. You got to get another score, because if you don't, and they do, all the momentum is on their side. Now, I was very confident with the United States in the 3-on-3 because of their defense. And I know Sweden has a good defense, too, very mobile and some offensive guys. But when you can throw Quinn Hughes and Zach Werenski out there, who are two of the best offensive players from the defensive position in the whole world, I felt pretty confident in a 3-on-3 with that. But it sure did feel like, wow. And for Team USA, they had never beaten Sweden in the Olympics with NHLers in it. And I think they had lost their last 6 against Sweden in the Olympics, period. So that was a nice little monkey for them to get off of their back.
Yeah, there is there's an immense amount of pressure for both of them. You're right, Canada has it a little bit different than we do, in that it is their sport, and they are obviously the favorites. It's like if they don't win gold, they just throw the medals away. But this is probably the best American team that we've rolled out too. So you're set up for what should be a thrilling Sunday morning. I mean, it's set up for that. Now, you got to get there. In order to do so, they will both play tomorrow. We had this right, by the way. Canada will play first against Finland. They will play at 10:40 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then Slovakia and the United States will play the 3:10 game. Hockey it's puck luck. It's a little fluky sometimes. The best teams don't always win. I mean, we've witnessed that here with the Blue Jackets. The best teams don't always win. Sometimes you get a hot goalie, puck bounces a certain way, and you win. And that's the thing that makes it so nervy. And that's why when you go to overtime in those two games, my hunch is that what you get from Canada and Team USA tomorrow is something else. And I would imagine both of them handle their business pretty emphatically tomorrow. You got that one out of the way, and you handle your business on Friday in the semifinals and set up that gold medal game that we all want to see.
I know, as you know, yesterday you get a kind of a late goal by Sweden that forces overtime, but 3-on-3 hockey, when you have that kind of talent, even for the Czechia Canada game, is so awesome.
Yeah,
like that's almost my favorite type of hockey, and it's the highest quality you'll get in the world. Even though you're kind of I was standing in my living room watching that thing.
How about Team Finland too? They also went to overtime. They were down 2-0 to Switzerland and came back and got that win. That would have been a heck of an upset for the Swiss as well. But just 3 of the 4 yesterday in overtime. Great hockey games.
Another one today at 1 o'clock, the gold medal game on the women's side of things. Canada, Team USA play at 1:10. United States is the prohibitive favorite and is undefeated. Lots of former Buckeyes in this game, right? I mean, both sides.
Yeah, I believe there are 7 former or current Buckeyes, because Joy Dunn for the United States, she is actually missing time with Ohio State right now to be over there at the Olympics. The one
you imagine like that excuse card that was sent into the coach? I'm going to have an absence, coach. Oh, you are? Where are you going to be? Oh, I'm going to be playing for a gold medal. Okay.
You think she's got to get online and do classes right now, too?
We'll get to that.
Easy.
We don't teach school at Ohio State. You know better than that.
The one thing that has been very impressive about the USA women's team to me is their speed. Yeah. They are by far, even over Canada in the games I've watched, they are by far the fastest team out there on the ice. Their skating is ridiculous.
Really is. Speaking of the Ohio State women's basketball team losing last night at Minnesota, 74-61. Buckeyes trending like a 4 seed, kind of seems like 3-4 seed.
Yeah, a little alarming. It's their first back-to-back loss this season, and you're doing it maybe at the worst time. I think they've got 2 games left after Sundays against USC. So you just kind of feel the vibes don't go well when you kind of limp out of the regular season like that.
Imagine if this was the men's situation and you had the 10th ranked team in the country, and then you had a player who had played 3 years for you and was an all Big Ten playing at Ole Miss, dropping 39 midweek. I mean, just a weird. It happens it happens everywhere. I'm sure it was an NIL thing. Who knows? Because that's part of it. But that just college sports is in a very, very weird spot, which gets us to where we're headed next, which is Ted Carter, Ohio State president, on Ohio State and the future of college athletics. We'll get to that coming up next in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay. How about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront costs before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Matty Ice here. If you're looking for the perfect new vehicle, my friends at the McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion have just the thing for you. You can lease a brand new 26 Chevy Equinox LT for just $209 a month for 36 months with $4,819 due at signing. Or if financing is more your style, grab it for just $379 a month. Terms and restrictions apply. McDaniel GM Superstore has been family owned for over 100 years. They're just off Route 23 on 95 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Hey, Columbus, big news. For a limited time, get Uber One free for a full year so you could save on food and rides. That's a $96 value on us. Just use code Columbus. Get 1 year of $0 delivery fees, 10% off eligible food and grocery orders, and up to 6% Uber One credits on rides. Sign up for this limited time offer today using code Columbus and save big with Uber One. Offer valid through 3/31/26. Savings and $0 delivery fee on eligible orders and rides only. Fees and terms apply. See app for details. details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Thursday edition of the program. Earlier this week, our good buddy Dom Taberry caught up with Ohio State President Ted Carter. Wide-ranging discussion. You can see it at 10tv.com. I know we've played some of the excerpts of it throughout the week. This is one I wanted to drill in on. Dommy asked him if Ohio State would ever have an interest in joining a super conference. Here is your president on that.
I'm always going to be protective of the Ohio State Buckeyes. And if we put ourselves into some sort of bigger league than what we are in already in the Big Ten, it has a chance of diluting our brand. So I'm not going to be the first one to sign up for that. We're 18 teams now. Some people might argue that diluted us a little bit from what we were, but yet the Big Ten now is an even more powerful brand because of it. So I'm going to say in the experiment of that expansion, Ohio State is still at the top of that list, and our brand matters. Not only the most recognizable brand, but the most powerful athletic Division I sports program in the country. I mean, 36 Division I sports. Nobody else is doing that except for Navy and Stanford at 35. So I love our brand. I want to protect it.
There's a lot there. Well, let's do the 36 sports first, and then we'll get into some of the things he said about the diluted brand with the super conferences. But the 36 sports thing is something that, to me, feels like we are approaching the crossing of the Rubicon with it, in the sense that how long can you keep this up? How long can you continue to financially support and buoy 36 sports while spending what it takes to be elite at the ones that matter most? And I don't know how you make that work. And I would argue, as much as I hate this, because it's not a personal attack on anyone who participates in those sports that lose money, but there are a great many of them that do. And the reality is, if you have 36 sports, it's probably bad business. It's a bunch of loss leaders is what it is. It's unfortunately, it's become charity work, and it doesn't make sense to be able to do it. Now, the flip side of that is Ohio State has invested mightily. And those of you who are alumnus, my hunch is you're incredibly proud of the facilities that have been built and of the fact that you can say we're one of the few sports that tries to do athletically what the Naval Academy does and what Stanford does, and also try to do what Alabama and Georgia do in football and attempt to do what, Carolina and Kansas do in basketball, all the while trying to beat Penn State in wrestling and try to beat UConn and Tennessee in women's basketball. Like all of these aspirational things that you're trying to, boxes you're trying to check. But financially, I just don't know how much longer you can do it, guys. To me, it feels like you're getting right to the edge of the water of crossing it. And then once you do, you're never going back. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see how Ted Carter, Ross Bjork manage it, because there's no way fiscally it's responsible to have 36 sports.
It doesn't seem to me like they have interest in dialing back sports or removing programs. So I think we're still a ways out from that, because you've heard Ross say it a bunch. You've heard now Top Gun Teddy echo that sentiment. I think it's a major Gene Smith legacy play, where what he did here in Columbus in keeping so many sports operating a high level with Ohio State was really a feather in his cap. And I do think Ross takes that seriously in being Gene's successor. And I think same thing with Ted Carter. Once they do it, though, it'll be less of a conversation. It's just when you kind of rip that Band-Aid off. Maybe there's a path to when you separate football from all of this. I think that should be, I think, the focus. Instead of removing any of the sports, it's taking the one kind of, I don't know if albatross is the right word here, but football is clearly king in all of this in terms of eyeballs, attention, revenue. That, and I think everybody can agree, needs to be a separate entity from the other sports. Then maybe some sanity returns to all of this. Also with what you saw earlier in the week, LSU's jersey patch, it's going to go for all 21 of their sports.
Sure.
So maybe in different ways, you can kind of divvy up your jersey patches to create some new revenue streams for some of the other sports.
You're right. They will do that. They will put jersey patches. They sell stadium tours now. They're putting a restaurant in the shoe. Like, they're doing all of these things. It's all found money. That's what they're looking for. They're trying to find money. The problem is if you take football out of it, then none of the rest of it can stay afloat. Because football lifts it. It pays for it. So that's the issue with it. If you remove football from it, then you're probably going to have 6 sports, is the reality, because they are the ones who pay for it.
Reese, I disagree with you on they're going to divvy up the jersey patches. I think they're going to sell one big package, just like LSU did, because I don't know how many people are going to run out there and buy tennis jersey patch, want to pay for tennis jersey patches or wrestling patches. But I do think and that's just usually how businesses do it. I think you're going to get more bang for your buck selling all 36 in one, so they'll all have the same jersey sponsor. Bo, correct me if I'm wrong, and I understand that you're still taking money away from certain sports when you do this, but Ohio State and their $20.5 million, they are only divvying that up between football, men's and women's basketball, and women's volleyball, correct?
I believe that was the way that it was. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
So all of these sports where you're taking the money away is facilities and paying for coaches and things like that.
Yeah.
I believe, which is a lot of money, and the travel and all of that. So you could maybe give more money to a men's basketball coach, possibly, if you weren't paying for all of those things. But at least Ohio State isn't paying all of those athletes. And that's why I think they can compete in the wrestlings, in the tennises. And when people try to bring up the basketball comparison, well, you're competing in those sports. Well, everyone is, because nobody's paying those sports.
No one is paying, like, the tennis and the wrestling and all that?
The players, for the most part.
Oh, well, they might not be paying them out of their $20 million, but in certain places, as you know, you're being compensated NIL probably in a very, very big way. I'm guessing that Ohio State-Penn State wrestling match that happened last Friday, my hunch is that there was a great deal of money that was being earned by the guys that were grappling on that Friday night.
Yeah, Tom
in terms
Ryan
of endorsements. I'm guessing the NIL is pretty good.
An interview with the Dispatch, Tom Ryan did, and talked about the NIL allocation for some of the top wrestlers in the country, and there's definitely NIL going to those wrestlers. I do think that, with football subsidizing the 35 sports is kind of really where we're going. Like that, I do think that the ticket sales and revenue still does that. I don't see a path where they want to say, okay, this sport's got to go. They're not going to look at it like a balance sheet.
No, but I said this to Jane years ago, and I think it holds up. 36 sports is not good business. It's good for morale. It's a great sense of pride, but it's not good business. You have to pay all those coaches. You have to give scholarships to all of those athletes, or partial scholarships. Obviously, a lot of those
programs aren't full scholarship, full teams. Like, that's not the case. But there's partial scholarships. There are some full scholarships. You think of just training table for all those sports. Just think feeding, 3 meals a day for all those sports. Just think about travel, flights around the country to play all this stuff. I mean, how does it work? You're unfortunately, to me, I feel like in the next 5 years, that is going to have to retract. I just don't see any scenario with where all of this is going that you're going to be able to maintain it. And then you're going to have tough decisions about, okay, most people that are in the Ohio State zenith, I think we did this a year ago with Texas. I want to say Texas had around 15 to 18 sports. It's half, more than half. Like, those are your competitors, and they're not even attempting to swim in these waters.
Bo, you said 5 years?
Yeah.
In that interview with Dom, Ted Carter said 3 years.
For 36?
Well, no, he said 3 years, like the way the NIL system is right now. He said it can't survive, and he said it's only like 3 years. That the way they're doing things now is sustainable.
Yeah. Well, so what's interesting, I think, about that is, why isn't it sustainable? NIL is not coming from the university. It's coming from boosters and donations. That's where it's coming from. Businesses.
Okay, so why isn't it sustainable? It's not sustainable because the same people who are paying NIL are the people that Ted and Ross need to build facilities. The same people that they need to improve the shoe. Like, imagine the millions that need to go in the shoe in the next 5 years. Just to get it up to speed. What's required? Like, there's that part of it, too. The second part of Ted Carter's conversation with Dom that I want to get to coming up next is he had a line in there about a diluted brand. I wrote that down in Sharpie because I think that there's a little bit of lesson to that. We will get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
A system for every home and every budget at Logan AC and Heat Services. Get a free Trane furnace with the purchase of an air conditioner. And don't forget about our 10-year parts and labor warranty available now. Logan Services.
Hey folks, winter is here. The number one cost for everyone each month are those pesky heating bills that never stop increasing. It is time to take action and do something about it. Call USA Insulation today and get your home insulated with our premium foam for only $99 a month, interest-free. That's right, $99 a month. You can have a warm, cozy home that you and your family deserves. 529-2440, 529-2440 or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
BMI FCU is celebrating their 90th anniversary all year long with monthly sweepstakes. Open a BMI FCU Visa credit card. Enjoy rates lower than the national average and a special rate on balance transfers. Apply today at bmifcu.org/visa.
It's Timmy Hall here, stepping in for the common man. You see, he decided to go to Italy when his Germain spot was due. Must be nice. You know what else is nice? Germain's month-long President's Day sale at all the locations listed at GoGermain.com. This month, all qualified pre-owned vehicles come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty. On top of the $1,000 price promise, no one will sell you a car for less. Nearly 4,000 vehicles, 30 brands, one website. You can only find the savings and that warranty at GoGermain.com. Hope you enjoyed your cured meats, common man.
Bet365 is paying out before the final buzzer.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout for basketball. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 20-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final buzzer and start counting that cash. Hold up, you get early payout on parlays too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Join the Fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355. Or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL, 614-962-7355, or selltohometeam.com.
If you're shopping for an engagement ring or wedding bands, timing matters, and Wedding Weekend is designed for that moment. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. February 27th and 28th, enjoy preferred bridal pricing on select wedding and anniversary bands with advantages up to 30% off, plus special no-interest financing on engagement rings. We guarantee the best price year-round, and Wedding Weekend adds an exclusive advantage you won't find anywhere else. Join us February 27th and 28th at Diamond Cellar on Selma Road or at Easton Town Center.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
The other part of that Ted Carter answer that's interesting is the first part of it that we played, and that is where he talks about a diluted brand. And at one point he said you could argue that 18 teams in the Big Ten is too big. Now he covers it afterwards where he says something to the effect of the Big Ten is more powerful than ever. It is, in the sense that it's won the last 3 football national championships. That part, there's your power. That's your might. Is it the most powerful, though, if it's the playoff system that it wants, nobody else is signing up for? So are you Goliath? Sure. But can you talk people into following you? So far, not, it seems. And the reason that the Big Ten is having to do all of these things, and this is the dirty underbelly of all of this, is because the Big Ten has to make it good for 18 teams in its league. And they have to make it good with their television partners. This goes back to the found money conversation we were having at Ohio State. The exact same thing has happened at the Big Ten level. They're looking for found money. They want to be able to go to Fox and NBC and CBS and offer more inventory, more games. That's what it's all about. Is Ohio State's brand diluted by being in this conference?
No. And I'd argue that the Big Ten, when obviously Ted says that because he wants to be a good teammate, but if you look at the recent acquisitions to the Big Ten, has any of them really propped up the league itself? I'd argue no. I mean, it's great that you have Oregon, but everybody else, from a national standpoint, it isn't associated with the conference in and of itself. It's Ohio State, it's Michigan, Penn State, to a lesser extent, and obviously Indiana with the flash that the Hoosiers have had in the last 2 seasons. But
sure,
this isn't some great brand Big Ten. It's the conference. It's the teams that run the conference have the brand. The SEC is the only conference that has a brand, and that's because they were tribalistic for 20 years about it.
Yep, I think the ACC had one.
In basketball, sure.
I think the ACC had a basketball brand, and they lost it, I think, in part when Maryland bolted to the Big Ten. I think they lost it. I think the Big East had a brand in basketball when they had Syracuse and Georgetown and UConn and Villanova. That was a brand. That was something that you knew it. It looked it. I think the Big Ten had a brand, right? Massive universities, middle part of the country, huge in many instances, land grant, research, all of that. There was an identity to the Big Ten. There is no identity. Once you take on Nebraska, Rutgers, and Maryland, your identity's gone. You're now just saying anything under our umbrella is us. And I think that whole thing was botched. All of it was botched. Those 3 teams, including Nebraska, and Nebraska probably wishes they had that back. You saw those comments from Bill Mose from last week. I mean, you think they wouldn't love to have been back in the Big 12 before that thing blew up? They ran for the money. And that's what's driven everything the Big Ten has done over the last 15 years. And it has enriched the league. There's no question. It's enriched the bottom of the league that, quite honestly, does not deserve to be enriched. And sometimes they don't even know what to do with it. How in the blue hell could Rutgers still be operating in the red all these years later? After getting the full Big Ten payments for all these years, like, what is going on over there that you're in the red? That's the whole reason that you're in the league. And you can't make it work.
When you were gone, we talked a little bit about this, and I don't think Ohio State ever has to worry about their brand diminishing, because I think Ohio State is just bigger than some of this. Maybe that's naive of me to think, but I don't think Ohio State ever has to worry about that. But I do wonder, and the TV numbers show that we're watching it in record numbers and all of that, but I do wonder if there's going to come a point in all of this where people do get turned off and they quit watching, and maybe they have quit watching some in the regular season outside of the big matchups. T-Bone and Tyvis were talking about this morning, and they were using the example of boxing and why I don't think it's totally the same in the comparison. Boxing used to be on ABC, and everybody could see it all the time, and then they went to the paywalls, and the big brands quit fighting each other. And they were just going for the money fights, and you didn't get the fights that people wanted to see. And I do wonder if there's a time in this with the short-sightedness of making money, if there is going to come a time where the want for college football wanes because you're not giving the people what they want.
You mean in terms of so that analogy goes to heavyweight championship fights. So that's the idea of Alabama bailing on the Ohio State-Alabama series.
Yeah, and just
those type of regular season matchups.
The Peacocks and the Paramount Pluses and all of this where you have to pay to go get it.
There's one thing though that is part of that boxing conversation, and I didn't hear them talking about it this morning. I was helping them with shoes when I was listening to them this morning. But the thing that the boxing conversation that has to be acknowledged is boxing's fall, everything that you mentioned, the greed, the chasing it, the different belts, the lack of organization, all of that happened while UFC launched. So all of a sudden, folks who maybe otherwise would have been boxers went to UFC. And UFC became a real player, massive player. And it almost feels like it usurped boxing. Because if you go back years ago, I mean, you remember the Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell? They fought all the time. You saw those fights. And so there was a delivery regularly of best on best. And that's something that boxing... So I think that's kind of the boxing thing. There is no UFC to college football.
No.
So I think it's very safe. I think it's the second most popular sport. I think that those of us that are knee deep in the muck in it, like we all are, there's fatigue. Those of you who consume it, sometimes there's fatigue with how backwards it all is right now. But I think that most people aren't even aware that all this stuff's going on.
Yeah, it's February.
You know what I mean? They're not even aware. I mean, the amount of conversation I have with people who watch college football games and aren't aware of how NIL works is quite stunning. A lot of people think it's that Ohio State is paying out the NIL. A lot of people think that. And that it's coming from other places within the athletic department. And it's not. So I still think that all of those things are safe. To put a ribbon on this, and we'll have a further discussion on this coming up a little bit later because I want to dig in on Ohio State's brand and what potentially they ought to do in this long term. I do think that this is the biggest difference, and Reese, you hit on this. The biggest difference between the Big Ten and the SEC is there are individual brands in the Big Ten that far surpass the brand of the Big Ten. Several. There aren't several in the SEC that far surpass the brand of the Southeastern Conference. Alabama football might a little, Kentucky basketball a little, but there aren't several. And in the Big Ten, there's several, and one of the several is Ohio State. It's bigger than the Big Ten by a pretty wide margin. Michigan is too. We'll open up the mailbag coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued, Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate, or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth, or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient, and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
When it comes to trucks, dependability matters. At Germain Toyota, we know what it takes to earn your trust. Quality vehicles, straightforward pricing, and a team that puts you first. From the job site to the weekend, drive a truck built to go the distance. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
It's a new year. Ready for a fresh start or career reboot? At My Computer Career, prep for a more recession-resistant future in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, in months, not years, including AI. Whether you're starting out or switching careers, no prior training is needed. Attend school online from home or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu to take the free career evaluation today. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Remember the old days when football used to have an off-season? Well, we at the Fan think that really sucked. That's why we bring you Austin and Berm, America's #1 resource for Buckeye football conversation, is voted by Fake Surveys Incorporated. Catch their daily podcast called The Beat and their breaking news podcast, Snap Judgments, as they broadcast live from Roosters on Mondays, and they come right to your house and massage your tender areas. They'll do it all. Austin and Berm on the Fan's YouTube channel and 10 TV+.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Are you struggling with bad feet? Hi, it's Mike from the Good Feet store. I'd like you to hear what Kelsey, a kinesiologist, has to say about how your feet can affect your entire body.
When the foot's placed in the ideal position, everything else up the kinetic chain works better. You have better balance, more energy, you're going to feel better. Being able to move freely means everything to me, and good movement starts with the feet. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that they support all 4 arches of the foot.
So did you even know you had 4 arches in each foot? Most people don't, and most shoes and inserts only support one of your foot's arches. Learn how Good Feet arch supports can support all 4 of your arches. We want to help you walk, run, exercise, and play in comfort this year. Trade in your bad feet for good feet at the Good Feet store. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall, or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-718-4040. That's 800-718-4040. 800-718-4040.
Columbus Winners got you down.
Rise up in the Ford F-150. Slash through snow with 2.9% APR for 60 months and up to $3,250 bonus cash. Credit questions? We're ready. Pre-qualify today at capitalfordofcolumbus.com.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. USA Women's Hockey goes for gold this afternoon at the Milan Cortina Olympics. They'll play Canada at 1:10. The U.S. men's hockey team is in the Olympic semifinals tomorrow against Slovakia. It'll be a 3:10 face-off for that. Winner gets Canada or Finland in Sunday's gold medal game. Sidney Crosby will be reevaluated for a lower body injury sometime in the next 24 hours. Crosby suffered that injury yesterday in Canada's quarterfinal win over the Czech Republic. Team USA's third in overall Olympic medal count with 24, third in gold medals with 7. In college basketball, the 10th-ranked Ohio State women's squad lost at number 23 Minnesota last night, 74-61. OSU is going to host USC on Sunday, and the NBA is back from the All-Star break. The Cleveland Cavaliers will host the Brooklyn Nets tonight at 7. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
Paul Finebaum coming up in 29 minutes from now. Time to open up that mailbag. Hit it, fellas.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more. And you got to get it out. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
All right, I'm going to start on social with this. I got this one from Jay Shreve on social before. This was when I was on vacation, and he tweeted at me last year at some point. You spoke to advice around being a dad coach, and there were 3 things you said you'd learned or stood by, along with asking kids if you could push them to help them improve. I thought I saved the podcast, but did not. Help, please. Yeah, this is I do this every team I coach from. Well, we don't have a first grader anymore, but I did it with first graders all the way through 6th graders, middle schoolers, and it's pretty simple. Number 1 is listen. I get them all together. I say, I got 3 rules. Number 1, listen. So what do I mean by listen? It means when coach is talking, you don't. It means when coaches are talking, your eyes are on the coach. That's listening. Okay? 2, try hard. Just give your best. Whatever that is. Just go as hard as you can for as long as you can and do your best. Give your best effort that you can out there. And number 3 is have fun. And if you do the first 2, then the third one is easy. That's easy. Because if you listen and try hard, then the fun comes with that. So that's the 3 things that I'd say at the start of every single practice. The other thing you're alluding to, if I did this with some of the older boys as they've been around for a while and they've accomplished things, I always ask them at one of the first practices, how do you want to be coached? Do you want to be coached like a team that is trying to win at the highest level? If the answer to that is yes, then I'm asking your permission to coach you hard. And if you grant that permission, and that doesn't mean yelling at kids. I don't ever yell at kids. But what that means is hold you to a standard in practice, hold you to a standard in games. So that's it. And it's served me pretty well through the years, but that's it. I think that those ground rules and you have to be on them, especially if they're young early, especially with the listening. Like, tolerate not listening early. One blip, and you got to get on them. Guys, we have, from Tom here, an incredible Beard Olympics. So, last week, Bake ignited a beard off between us and Rothman and Ice. Tom outlined in incredible detail how he thinks we should do this. The Beard Sprint Olympic Edition. The goal, to achieve the highest degree of full beard status in exactly 14 days. The starting block, clean shave. The gun goes off. All contestants must film or photo verify a wet shave. Razor to skin, no stubble remaining on the morning of day 0. No head starts, no shadow allowed. If you look like you have a 5 o'clock shadow at 9 a.m., you're disqualified. Well, that would disqualify you, Reese.
Yeah, if I'm shaving at 7, I'm stubble by 8:30.
It's not fair.
Which is, if we want to do this is fine. I don't quite think it can't really be said in enough words, like how quickly I grow facial hair. Like, the words don't do it justice. It's nuts.
No.
And real quick, in all of this, it was never a beard challenge. It was just a facial hair. Our show has the best facial hair.
Yeah.
And right now, Reese doesn't have a beard. He wins hands down any facial hair contest with that beautiful Magnum PI-like mustache of his.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, split number 1, the one-day dash. At the 7-day mark, we check for coverage. Judging criteria, who has the fewest patches. The Stubble Award. Points are awarded for most even distribution across the cheeks, chin, and mustache. Maintenance. Strictly no trimming. In a 1-week sprint, every millimeter of growth counts. I mean, I told you this was incredibly detailed. Split 2, 2-week finish line. The final photo finish to determine the winner of the full beard title. Judging criteria. Definition. Does it look like a beard or just heavy stubble? Density. Can you still see the skin underneath? Thicker is better. 3, the Olympic connection. Participants must strike a podium pose in their final photo. Rules of engagement. He has an anti-doping policy. No fillers. Using eyebrow pencils or beard fillers to plug the gaps is an immediate red card. Natural light only. Photos must be taken in clear, natural lighting. Shadows are the performance-enhancing drugs of beard contests. They make hair look thicker than it is. I've never seen anything like it. He closes. The neckline rule. Since this is a race to full beard, contestants are encouraged not to shave their necks. We want to see total raw growth. The barber's strategy note. In a 14-day race, exfoliation is a secret weapon. Tell your racers to scrub their face daily. It keeps the pores open and the hair follicles moving at top speed without getting trapped by dead skin.
It's so key.
It's incredible.
You got to rinse and scrub at least once a day, sometimes twice if it's really dry out there. That's as detailed as one architect who sent you in things about the horseshoe.
That was unbelievable.
I mean, our listeners are incredible.
The best.
So there's no...
It's just incredible, that effort.
There's no doubt our show is winning that because Cole's going to be patchy. I don't know if AR's looks great right now. I don't know how fast it's growing. The one thing I hate about this, though, is I don't know how my face would react to being razor shaved because it's been over a decade since that's happened. Clean, razor to skin. That's been a long time.
It just would glow, Bake. It would just glow. Now, the one thing that can happen once you've had a beard for a long time and then you go clean shave, all of a sudden there can be some spots that you don't anticipate because you haven't seen them.
Yeah.
I mean, that can happen too.
Or you could look like a teenager going through puberty for the first time.
First time ever.
All the ingrown hairs that would happen and little nicks and marks that would be all over the face.
Dicey. Oh my goodness. That's a great job out of him. This one from Paula, and the subject is women's sports. She writes, I listen to you a few days a week and have certainly not heard much about women's sports. They don't seem to be very important for your group to bring up. Why is that? So this is, there's a pretty direct line to things we talk about and give airtime to. And it's a pretty simple theorem. Do people care? And the key to that is, do enough people care? So you will recall that when Caitlin Clark was at Iowa and the women's basketball tournament was doing 5 or 6 million people watching it, we spent a great deal of time talking about it. And we will talk about the women's basketball tournament in March when people start watching it. I don't think, and I've said this, and this isn't just a women's basketball conversation or women's sports conversation. It's sometimes a Blue Jackets conversation. It's sometimes a Crew conversation. It will be an Aviators conversation.
Reds and
candidly.
Guardians.
It's a Guardians conversation, a Reds conversation. It's a Buckeye men's basketball conversation. If enough people care, we'll talk about it. I don't believe that it is our job to prop up sports to make more people care. That's agenda setting is what that is. So that's us saying we care about this. We're really going to push it. I've always been, since I've been doing these shows, I've always been more, what are people caring about? That's what we're talking about. That's the direct line. And we have ways of metering that. What people care about, that's what we talk about most. So, and you could do this on every show on The Fan, is my guess, that it is primarily Ohio State football, the NFL, college football, and then everybody else is fighting for what's left because that's the give a damn level. It's nothing personal. I'm sure the crew would love us to talk about them more. I'm sure all of it. Everybody wishes we talked about them as much as Ohio State football. But Ohio State football demands the conversation.
Just for an example, like I hate talking about the transfer portal and pulling persons out of the portal. I don't care. But interest demands it.
Yeah.
Right? So there are things we'd like roll our eyes at when they come up. But they are important, and we know that they're important to our listener base. Like, I get it if you're a cook and you're sick of making a Whopper, but you work at Burger King. So flip that patty.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, Bo. I'd come in here and talk 3 hours a day about Blue Jackets.
Sure.
But then we wouldn't be number 6. We'd be like number 16.
No, maybe. Yeah, that's now. And by the way, you don't need whatever those things are. Like, and now there are so many avenues for everything that whatever your niche is, you can find it. You can find it. Someone's talking about it. Someone somewhere is talking about it. So there are people talking about that all the time, and you can go find it. It's readily available to be able to do it. You ever get? I'll tell you right now. If Kevin McGuff is sitting here, he's had it run a great program, tons of winning. If they were 27-0, and they had a Juju Watkins, I mean, Jelani Cambridge is incredible, but like, if they were that, we'd be talking about it because you'd all be watching it. It's pretty simple. The Blue Jackets ever win like at a big level, if they were like cup contenders, we're going to talk about it all the time.
And we talked a ton last year when they made their run to the playoffs and the Stadium Series.
Of course.
We rode that a long way.
Yeah, yeah. But it is a fist fight for attention that everything else is doing underneath the Goliath that is football. That's the spot.
By the way, Bo, we did talk a little bit about the Ohio State women's basketball team earlier and how they've dropped 2 in a row for the first time all year. I'm blaming Fish for that. That's Fish's fault.
Why is it? What did he do?
Because we've put the last 2 games on 97.1 The Fan.
Oh.
And they've lost. We took them all. They were still on The Fan, too, but not exclusively on The Fan, too. So I'm blaming Fish.
Okay.
It's not McGuff's fault.
It's not his. Well, we have some more, including one on a dad sandwich and one on tanking in the NBA. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Social Security is for everybody, but for too long, not everybody got everything they earned. Public servants and retirees worked hard for decades, but saw their guaranteed benefits reduced. That's why Congressman Mike Carey stepped up, passing the Social Security Fairness Act to protect benefits for millions of Americans. Thanks to Congressman Carey, Social Security benefits increased for teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other first responders in certain states, better serving the hardworking men and women who tirelessly serve us. And for those not nearing retirement, Congressman Carey passed the Working Families Tax Cut, the largest tax relief bill in United States history. Congressman Carey delivered no taxes on tips or overtime, increased the child tax credit, and passed thousands in tax relief for Ohio seniors. Find out more about how Mike Carey gets you everything you earned at carey.house.gov. Paid for with official funds from the Office of Mike Carey.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I grew up here, and after 25 years of telling this community's stories, this place still means so much to me. When I'm not in the newsroom, I'm usually out supporting the same people and causes I care deeply about. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still. It moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer, to speak up or lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
We have made our community a very important part of our business. One of the things that many people may not realize is that I was born and raised in Columbus. Our plant is in Columbus. All of our employees are from Ohio. And the community hears about all this stuff. And so the community trusts us.
Visit Rosati Windows by the end of this month and get 35% off all windows and doors.
I started my first business when I was 12, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you and customers care that you show up and do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts and springs guaranteed to last a lifetime. When you care about the people you serve, you work harder and it shows. Call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
In the old days when people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan.
Ohio has over 920,000 diabetics. If you are a diabetic, take a step in the right direction by having your feet checked routinely by a podiatric physician, the most qualified doctors to care for your feet. Adding a podiatrist to your healthcare team can help you better manage the effects of diabetes on your feet. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're looking mostly cloudy and highs into the lower 60s, but showers and storms are in the forecast here for this evening, developing to our west and moving in here this evening, and a few of them could be strong to severe, with hail and wind being the primary concern. And we are tracking windy and colder conditions here for Friday. Temperatures starting off in the 50s and down to the 30s by the evening. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants. The pervert and the skivvies. Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is. And as always, we are brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Settler, your true jeweler for nearly 8 decades. Incredible folks there. All right, back to the mailbag we go. And we kick it off with this one from a Mr. Robert Bird, who writes, I think tanking is highly problematic for 2 reasons. This is coming on the heels of Mark Cuban's comments from earlier this week, or maybe late last week, that the NBA should embrace it. One, while fans or specific teams may want hope, TV viewers want compelling games where teams are competitive and try to win. If a quarter of their teams in the league are trying to tank, then roughly a quarter of the games, minus a bit, when they play each other, are going to be non-competitive, not worth watching, unless fans watch games for their team on the basis of team loyalty and not quality, which doesn't seem true. The revenue that those games generate isn't likely to be sufficient to justify the TV contracts that the NBA has. Where does the money to maintain the league come from when leagues are tanking? I talked about that earlier in the week, that I do think that the NBA TV contracts are going to be fascinating next time around. Second, he writes, in general, the experience for a team that's tanking is poor. Unless prices go down and tanking and up when successful, the money for the teams can't even out. Hope isn't enough to sustain people through a steady diet of losing. It's not enough to sustain players when they are paid to do it. And full price and time expensive losing is a lot to ask. You also have to have hope that people you've chosen to run things can do so effectively, which isn't true for lots of teams. And if prices shoot back up when things are good, people will feel betrayed and won't come back. The people you get will leave when things are bad again. Asking people to pay lots of money for season ticket holders to guarantee lots of money and attention for people who aren't trying, either tanking or load management, is a recipe for disappointment. Much of what underlies streaming is guaranteed revenue for products whose quality and identity aren't guaranteed and whose users don't have a choice. Loyalty to entities who have shown they aren't loyal or sometimes even decent to you is unsustainable. That makes a lot of good points. He does. I don't agree with Cuban that you should embrace tanking. I think that's a very difficult spot.
I think you should punish it if you can prove it.
Well, you can prove it. You can prove it in Utah.
I mean, I think if...
You can prove it. It's just, the question is, if you open that can of worms, where does it stop?
I think
now you're disputing your own injury reports and so forth and so on. There is, as we've seen, there is no guarantee with the tanking. I mean, how long have the Washington Wizards been bad? How long have the Sacramento Kings been bad? How long have the Charlotte Hornets been bad? Now maybe they're coming out of it. They landed Concanupple and they've got some, they've got some things happening. But like some of these operations, I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies and the New Orleans Hornets were handed Zion Williamson and John Morant, and what do they have to show for it? So it's a very difficult talk because there's a lot of nuance to the conversation. And I think you're right. I think most people would say no tanking, try your hardest. I think the NBA hoped that the lottery would protect against that. I mean, the football doesn't even have a lottery for it. Like, we've seen tanking at the end of seasons to make sure you're the number one pick. It's harder in the collision sports. We've seen it in hockey. Again, harder in the collision sports. The NBA is the one that it's the most glaring. I honestly think the load management is a bigger problem than the tanking. I really do. I think that's the bigger issue. If I had to pick one to eliminate, that's what it would be. If you're healthy, you should play.
Yeah, the load management thing is direct correlation to the in-arena experience, the fans' experience. Yeah. Your ticket revenue depends on having your stars available to play in most games. If you want, I think nothing's a simple fix, but the most simple fix to me would be the first eight picks of the lottery. The 8 play-in teams get the lottery. You put those teams in a bingo machine and have it pop out one of those. And then the other first-round picks can fall where they may based on record.
So you're saying that the teams that were in the play-in games have the best chance
yes,
at the best players?
Because you've mentioned 2 teams in the West. There's 2 teams in the East I look at. And Washington's one of them. Washington's probably the best example of how many lottery picks do you need, guys?
I think you could still even get into a tanking for that situation almost. Like
the play-in?
Yeah, like what if you're a Golden State team and you're like, well, we've got an aging Steph Curry. I'm not sure we can win it all this year, but maybe we could next year if we got this guy. So maybe they try to make sure they're on the edge rather than, I think you could get into it. It might be harder. I don't know how you really police it. Because as you said, Bo, then you're questioning your own injury reports.
Yeah.
And you're getting into that. And I'm guessing the CBA and the Players Union would have something to say about that and getting involved in that. So it's it's really hard, I feel.
Great buddy and former 10 TV co-worker with me, the great Dan Franzak, hit me with a text on this. I think regulation could solve problems with NBA teams that are tanking, treated like European soccer. DF, the only thing with that is, in European soccer, there isn't a draft. So they don't tank because there's no incentive to. American sports is the only one that incentivizes bad teams. We're the only one that wants everything to the middle.
And the owners will never go for relegation.
No, and no, for sure not. And the other that's absolutely you're not. The other thing is in those, when you think about European soccer, the depths of those sports in those countries are massive. I mean, I don't even know how many divisions of soccer there are in England, but it's more than 4 different divisions. So that's where you can have the move up, move down situation. So that's the thing that's a little tricky. And you have that in Spain, you have it in Italy, you have it in Germany, where you can have the relegation. We don't have that. But the big issue is, the best young players in the world at age 16 go to Real Madrid, or they go to Bayern Munich, or they go to Liverpool, or they go to PSG, or they go to Man City, they go to Barcelona. Like, they're not sent to Wrexham. They go to the best places right away. So it's the draft pick stuff that really is the problem here, the way that we want everything to the middle. Everybody's got a chance is the option. The most backwards one is baseball, where they have no salary cap. There's no guarantees in terms of draft picks unless you come across a Skeens every once in a while. And then you have owners who don't spend. So even when they get the guys, they don't lift them up. This one from Jim. We must have been talking about a cruise recently. If you cruise up from Vancouver to Anchorage, get a room with a balcony on the right side of the ship, so you'll be facing land all the time. If you sail down from Anchorage, on the left side. I'm a professional photographer and got great shots from our balcony. It's a good tip. Pretty common sense tip. Otherwise, you're just looking at the sea.
So I believe, didn't we have a Hey Guys about this yesterday, because we had Dom on in the crew, the Buckeye Cruise.
Oh,
He's
that's
on the Buckeye
right.
Cruise right now. And I believe I said that I would love to go on an Alaskan cruise at some point. So
yeah,
there
being
you go.
In the middle of the ocean isn't the most appealing thing for me. Just on a boat and you're stuck out and there's just ocean all around you. But like an Alaskan cruise sounds fun. A Viking cruise in Europe.
There you go.
Also sounds fun because you're not just stuck out in the middle of the ocean.
I will tell you this. I've only been on one cruise. It was the Buckeye Cruise. It was in 2020. It was right before COVID.
Just at the buzzer.
Just barely at the buzzer. What I would tell you is there is something incredibly peaceful on being out at sea. You cannot wrap your head around the vastness of it. And that part is pretty cool. But you're like my boy Beamsy, Reese. Like, he's like, no dice, Dad. I'm like, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to wrap my head around that. Because what if you get choppy waters?
To choppy water, who knows what could happen? Next thing you know, the Titanic in the Caribbean. Last one, this one from Scott. I was curious if any of you have ever had what I call the dad sandwich. The dad sandwich is a late-night concoction of cold cuts, cheese, lettuce, tomato, bread, and really whatever you find attractive in the fridge, but there's a catch. The dad sandwich is consumed late at night in as much silence as possible with nobody else around to bother you. It is also simply plated on a paper plate, and you leave no traces of your joyed experience. Love the show. Listen every day for the variety. Take care. That is a fantastic. I love this. I love this.
A napkin or a paper towel, not a plate.
The napkin, I'm definitely on a paper towel. I like the idea that he's sneaking the dad sandwich.
That makes
I'm going to tell you, as a parent of boys, you know why he's sneaking it? Because he doesn't want to make 3. He just wants to make his sandwich. That's it.
That makes me think back to the old Cosby Show episode.
Yeah.
Where Cliff's not supposed to be eating cold cuts anymore, so he's sneaking them, and he's like stuffing the potato chips in the sandwich.
A dad sandwich. I love that, man. That's a great job. Great job out of all you guys again this week. Mr. Finebaum in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
It's Timmy Hall here stepping in for the common man. You see, he decided to go to Italy when his Germain spot was due. Must be nice. You know what else is nice? Germain's month-long President's Day sale at all the locations listed at gogermain.com. This month, all qualified pre-owned vehicles come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on top of the $1,000 price promise. No one will sell you a car for less. Nearly 4,000 vehicles, 30 brands, one website. You can only find the savings and that warranty at gogermain.com. Hope you enjoyed your cured meats, common man.
What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Birmingham Berm from the Austin and Berm Show here on 97.1 The Fan. I hit maintenance after dropping 35 pounds on Awaken 180, and I'm not going to pretend that I don't feel different, because this is the first time in a long time I've actually reached a goal that I set for my physical health instead of just talking about one, thanks to Awaken 180. I'm under 200 pounds for the first time in 25 years, and that's not a small thing. I didn't have to muscle my way there either. The Awaken 180 coaches walked me through it. Every adjustment, every tweak. They made it simple. Honestly, it was easier than I expected. This now feels like momentum. I'm in maintenance mode, and I'm not guessing. I can have pizza. I can have ice cream. All the things I used to love are back on my menu, but my metabolism is firing on all cylinders. The difference is my body doesn't crave it all the time. It was a mindset change and not a Band-Aid. That's the part that changes everything. If you've been circling the same goal for years, maybe you don't need more willpower. Maybe what you need is what I had, a plan, a coach, and a system that makes it easy. Awaken180weightloss.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Finebaum.
And he joins on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Get into some college football stuff in just a second, but I did want to start with a little bit of hoops. It's been an incredible season on the hardwood of college basketball. Incredible games. Great one last night that I caught the end of with Alabama and Arkansas. Paul, how aware are you, or how much dialogue have you spent on your show talking about what's happening at Kansas with Darren Peterson?
It's come up a little bit. It has not been overwhelming, though.
Yeah, the reason I ask is, and I've applied it up, he's an Ohioan, and I realize you don't spend or talk about Kansas all the time, but what I am curious about, and for our audience, we've talked about it a few times, he had 23 points in 18 minutes last night, and again came out of the game and didn't play in the second half. Bill Self's basically coaching two teams. What I pose to our audience is, what if that happened in football, where you have a player who has so much power and has such an incredible contract with a sneaker deal already, and we have one in Jeremiah Smith, that they basically call their own shots. And I think it's a bit of a warning sign of what could happen in the sport you and I talk about the most. When you take a look at of what's happening there, how would that play out if it happened at a place like Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State in football?
Yeah, it almost did a couple of years ago. About 2 or 3 seasons, one of the top running backs in the SEC decided to quit playing, essentially, until he got a better deal. He ultimately left the school, but it didn't really bubble over into the media, but Bo, it will. And you know it, and it's coming, because this is where the players right now have all the leverage. They have year-to-year deals. They have game-to-game deals. And I think fans will turn on them as long as they are out of the lineup, but it's the second they come back in and can help their team win, they'll forget about it. That's what I've noticed so far in this current era that we're in, that fans only care about one thing, winning, and as long as that is satisfied, everything else goes out the window.
Yeah, and the other thing on the Peterson front is both he is an Adidas guy and they're an Adidas school, so there's that part of it too, and that they both answer kind of the same master, so there's that part of it. I had heard, and you would certainly know this, I had heard that there was some of this with Nico Amalieva at Tennessee, that there was a little bit of, hey, I'm not unless I get, and then that ends up with him at UCLA. Was there some truth to that with him there?
There's no doubt. And he wanted to renegotiate after the season. It dragged on, and he did not like the offer, and therefore he bailed out. And listen, I know you're not surprised. I'm not. This is where we are. It's amazing how quickly you turn the corner, though, because we went from a construct 5-6 years ago, and now, my question back is, what would really surprise anyone?
I think we're at the point where the answer to that's nothing, right? And I think as long as the audience continues, this is the other part that I struggle with. I'm curious where you are on this, because you and I knee deep in the muck on it. Those who listen daily to you or I, they're on it too. But there's a vast majority of people who just want to watch their games, and they're almost unaware of all of the muck that you're walking through on a daily basis.
And people are, especially down in the South, are dealing with all these court cases. The basketball player Bediako, the Aguilar. These cases, people are saying, "Well, why can't the school do something about it? Why can't the conferences do something about it?" Well, here's the dirty little secret: the people with the power have the money now. Whether it's the shoe company, whether it's the billionaire who has his name on the building, these are the folks with the collectives and NIL who are calling all the shots. The athletic directors, I don't care what they say, are answering to them, and that's why the system right now is in such chaos.
Do you think Trinidad Chambliss plays next year at Ole Miss?
I do, and they took a very smart approach. They got a hometown judge, which is really the new system. These schools are moving out of federal court into state court. They're judge shopping. And by the way, nobody get too upset about that. That's just the nature of litigation. You find your favorite judge, and unfortunately or fortunately, these are all elected officials. And if you're running for a judgeship in Columbus, Ohio, or Oxford, Mississippi, you know where the money comes from and what side of the toast it's buttered.
Absolutely. And the reality is that, and this is the thing that I think some fans don't understand too, when it's Trinidad Chambliss versus NCAA, SEC, whatever, it's essentially Ole Miss suing itself. Because
exactly.
That's the other part.
And I don't know how many times I've heard it this week already. I heard from somebody earlier. We just have about 30 days left to get Congress to go our way. Come on. I mean, it's just, I literally heard that.
For God's sake.
It's a loss. And by the way, it's true. If Congress doesn't do anything in the next 30 days, it's not going to do anything for a long, long time because, people that, say, I don't want to hear about politics. Well, the political nature are there has, in the last 13 months, there has never been an environment more conducive to get NIL legislation through Congress. What happens in November is that more than likely things are going to tilt again, and then it will go more toward the players, and you'll hear things like collective bargaining and employment status, and that will run off any chance of anything happening.
Speaking of running off any chance of anything happening, Tony Petitti hell-bent on a 2014 playoff. He just keeps putting this. Has been out again in the last week. Put it out there. Is there any juice for that in your neck of the woods?
None. There are maybe more people saying I like that because, but in terms of the top shelf people, no. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, Bo, but Tony Petitti continues to drive himself farther and farther away from the people that actually make the decisions. And I know he has a seat. He has a valuable seat, but I don't know why he is so far off on these tangents unless it's private equity money, unless it's, and I'm pretty sure it is, it's other people saying, Tony, you got it. This is the way to make money. Everybody thinks they can make a fortune right now in college athletics. And I will say that even the Big Ten deal and the SEC deal, who have the two best, are probably undervalued. But then again, once you cede the power, who is really running the show? And for a guy that came in on a white horse, I have no idea what has happened to Tony Petitti.
None of us do. You're not alone. None of us do. People here don't understand it. Some of the leadership here doesn't get it either. It's crazy, which leads me to the next thing. I saw Dan Wetzel with Reese Davis on a podcast that Dan was doing. I've known Dan for years and really, really strong. He made a comment about, does Ohio State and Michigan, how far are we from them just saying, like, we don't need this league? Like, we can sell the Ohio State-Michigan game. We can sell Ohio State-Penn State. We're actually underpaid in this thing. Those two schools have to lift up a lot of the dregs of this league. I think so all the time. And we had our president, Ted Carter, talking about this as well in terms of brand diluted with the size of the Big Ten. If there were a situation where we always talk about super conferences, I think we think about a 64 team or something like that. Paul, if we ever get to that, could it potentially be much, much smaller?
It could, and I don't think it's a bad idea. But I don't think there's a lot of momentum right now. But things change pretty quickly, and what's behind the curtain is large sums of money. And back to the undervaluation of the Big Ten TV rights and the SEC. there's only one group of people that can solve that, and those are Wall Streeters or Hollywood fat cats and private equity, and they are like the barbarians at the gate right now. They are knocking on the door, and it's just a matter of which group of people they influence the soonest. Because right now you still have some stalwarts. I think Sankey is one of those. You have other commissioners, but I don't know how much longer they can fight the money. It's like, 10 years ago when somebody mentioned AI, you go, I don't, let's not deal with that right now. Well, look what happened. And money, I'll spare you the 8,000 cliches, but we're not just talking about money. We're talking about large sums of money, billions as opposed to tens of hundreds of millions, and somebody will give in at some point.
Certainly will. Always great stuff, buddy. Appreciate your time. Thanks for giving us a little bit of it today.
You bet. See you, Bo.
There he goes. Paul Finebaum, the Paul Finebaum Show, ESPN, the SEC Network on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on the Fan.
File your taxes for free with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. Just file on your own in the Credit Karma app by February 28th. Valid for those who didn't file with TurboTax last year.
It's a Daily Show with Coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. With Puff Johnson coming in at mid-season, what's it been as far as what he's had to do, what the team's had to do to get him up to speed here in February, Jake?
A lot of extra work, and Puff's got a high basketball IQ, so we've been able to, I think speed that up as much as we can. He dealt with some injuries there, which was really unfortunate as he was starting to get more of a rhythm. But I think we're seeing more and more consistency. It's a time of year where you can't practice a ton as a team, especially when you consider the stretch we've been in, the five games, and I think it was 13 days. So, he's working really hard, film, extra work, trying to speed up the process as much as we can. But thankfully, he's got a high basketball IQ and a lot of experience to help with that.
Let's give another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. Basketball is full of challenging shots, and life can be too. With Encova, you don't have to do it alone. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Jake, in asking about Puff Johnson, what he brings, is it kind of obvious what a 6-year guy or an older guy can bring to a basketball team?
His experience is valuable. There's no question. He's been in a lot of big-time games. He's seen a lot. I think it speaks to his maturity, as well, ability to handle adversity, all those things you get when you have experienced players. And it's been important because we lost one of our most experienced players in Brandon for a significant stretch. So it's been a nice added bonus. Depth has been something we've had to really work to try to develop, and he's been able to provide some of that at a time when we really need it, all things considered.
It is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone, with more on the way, including the all-new RAV4, totally redesigned to be more capable, totally hybrid to fit your lifestyle, with multiple drivetrain options so you can maximize your weekend adventures or your fuel efficiency. And these new RAV4s are coming soon. Contact your Toyota dealer for arrival timing. Toyota Toyota. Let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's Skyway time at Skyline Chili. Come get your Skyline 3, 4, or 5-way with 50% extra cheese at no extra charge. Regular and large ways only at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Thursday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
About 9:20 this morning, the Chicago Bears released a statement on a possible stadium development in Hammond, Indiana. Mm-hmm. If you're wondering yourself, Eric, where's Hammond, Indiana? Well, it's about 30 minutes southeast of Soldier Field, 45 minutes west of Gary, Indiana, right on the Indiana-Illinois border. So, closer? From the Bears, quote, the passage of SB 27 would mark the most meaningful step forward in our stadium planning efforts to date. We are committed to finishing the remaining site-specific necessary due diligence to support our vision to build a world-class stadium near the Wolf Lake area in Hammond, Indiana. We appreciate the leadership shown by Governor Braun, Speaker Houston, some senators, and members of the Indiana General Assembly in establishing this critical framework and path forward to deliver a premier venue for all of Chicagoland and a destination for Bears fans and visitors from across the globe. End quote. Thing or not a thing?
Okay, so I had to pull up a map. It's a thing. It's very simple what they're doing. They are leveraging Indiana versus Illinois. That's all this is. So they have an ability to go to Indiana because the proximity is such that it's relatively close. And I like how he used Chicagoland. You'd have to ask one of the many Chicagoans we have, Mike, Fish, AR, if they consider Hammond, Indiana, Chicagoland. I have no idea. No point of reference on it. I'm looking at it right now. Wolf Lake Memorial Park and Wolf Lake in Hammond, Indiana. To me, it looks like it is right on the Indiana-Illinois border. It looks like it's right on it. And it is, you're straight up 90 into downtown, and then you get off Lakeshore, you go to 90 into downtown Chicago. It looks like it's, 19 miles from downtown. That's what it looks like to me, which in Chicago can take 6 hours, depending on the time of day. Look, it's going to be leverage. It's what it is. We'd have to talk to those three cats. They would know. Like Fish would know, Mike would know, AR would know. Like, do you consider that Chicagoland? I don't know if you do or not. It's right on the border.
So I know at one time they were talking about moving to Arlington Heights, and it sure seems like this is about the same distance from downtown Chicago.
Sure.
As Arlington Heights is.
I do think this big, real quick. The Arlington Heights, that's where their constituency is.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
So I think the Arlington Heights move would be similar to the Braves when they moved out of downtown into the northern suburbs. Mm-hmm. I think that's the difference.
I totally understand that. I'm just saying distance-wise. And
fair, yeah.
I also understand it's weird calling a team the Chicago Bears when they're not even in the state Chicago is in. I wonder if the Cincinnati Bengals said they were moving to like Florence, Kentucky, what the reaction would be.
They've threatened a move across the river before.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the leverage conversation.
And Covington is right there. It basically is Cincinnati. You cross a bridge and you're there. Florence is a little further south, so that's why
Where's the airport in Cincinnati? I know it's in Kentucky, but like, is it 5 miles from Cincinnati?
That I'm not sure. I just know it's not easy to get to ever.
No, I've flown into there. I know it's well south and it's well into Kentucky. There's precedent for this. It's a great job at a Eubank on the example of Cincinnati. There's precedent. I mean, the 2 New York teams are in Jersey.
Yeah.
So I would say the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport is 20 minutes from Great American Ballpark.
So it's 20 miles then, because there's no real traffic there. That's just getting on a freeway and you're there. So it's 20 miles south.
So Gary, Indiana, it says is a 38-minute drive from downtown Chicago. So I'm guessing Hammond is probably about 30 minutes. And then you throw traffic, right? So it's probably none of this is that in a game day scenario. But
they would
I
not
understand
want to
the
go
consternation.
There. Yeah, and this is not what they want. You do not want to have to go south. You don't want your they will lose the northern suburbs. I'm telling you that right now.
Could they become Packers fans?
You are not taking.
Yes.
You know, you live in Buffalo Grove or Arlington Heights, Evanston. Like, you are not going an hour plus on a Sunday to watch. I mean, that'd be like living in Mansfield and going up to Cleveland every Sunday.
Or I guess defect like Rothman and become Vikings fans.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that do that trip, Bo.
There might be.
There's a lot that make that trip from Columbus every Sunday.
Yeah, there are. But that's a choice, man. It's a real choice. And I think it's one as we get more and more comfortable at home and double screens and all of that. I think the NFL better be pretty careful here.
All right, we'll choose our adventure here. Do we want to do Kansas State and Jerome Tang or Kevin Durant and burner accounts?
Do the Jerome Tang one because we haven't touched on that yet.
So Kansas State fired him on Sunday for cause. About $18 million left on the contract. Tang does intend to fight for the money. Kansas State's denied public records requests for his termination letter. Kansas State is citing Kansas law, saying agencies shall not be required to disclose personnel records. Contracts are separate from other personnel records, and I guess whatever their argument is. Seth Greenberg was on SportsCenter and not thrilled with what K-State's trying to do.
Think about what he just said. He said they're going to hold his team to a standard. Their effort and their execution was unacceptable. Look, he's responsible for the players he brought into the program. And you know what? He made mistakes. But that has nothing to do with why he's getting fired. He's getting fired because he did not win enough games. It has nothing to do with that press conference. It has nothing to do with what he said. Look, he said there's a standard at this university. There's an acceptable and unacceptable behavior in terms of our effort, our attitude, the type of teammates we are, how we play, how we compete, how we represent this university. Not just the university, not just the basketball program, all right, but the community and the alumni. Quite honestly, don't you want your players? These guys are professionals. Yes. All right? The players on this team at Kansas State, they're getting paid probably between $500,000 and $1 million plus a year. Yep. Right? Yep. So if they're getting paid like that, then you know what? They expect to be treated like professionals. And you know what? Jerome Tang, he made mistakes. He made mistakes in his roster construction. He made mistakes in terms of how maybe he handled this team. But one thing he didn't do, he didn't deserve to be fired with cause. Yes. He's getting fired because he did not win enough.
Thing or not a thing.
He's 100% right. He's 100% right. Kansas State heard that press conference and said, here's an off-ramp to firing with cause. He didn't win enough. He went 26-10 year one, I think got to an Elite Eight. And then NIT and then 2 straight losing seasons, or certainly they're losing this year. He's in his 4th year there. They hired him from Baylor. This is because Seth Green's 100% right. They saw that, which, by the way, was a nothing burger. I mean, just basically trying to hold. I agree with everything Greenberg said on that. And, yeah, they're just looking for cause. And my guess is that they will reach a settlement. And my guess is Jerome Tang will see a very high percentage of the $18 million that's left on his contract.
I get that these with cause clauses are in these contracts so the universities don't have to pay them when they get rid of them, and in case you do anything really, really bad that makes the university look bad.
Mm-hmm.
But usually these with cause things don't kick in unless you've been not doing well. You haven't been producing, which I also don't understand. Like, you're a head coach. This is a wins and losses business. Isn't not winning enough fired with cause? I know it's a different thing and what it's 100%. In there for. But if you're just not good enough at your job, I guess when you're dealing with all this money and you've got lawyers involved in these contracts and whatever, this is in there to protect people. But there's no way Kansas State wins this in court. I don't believe, because it's not a situation where the coach has a drinking issue or stuff with his wife or any of that. So I don't think Kansas State's going to have a leg to stand on. As you mentioned, Bo, they probably are going to want to settle this or just give him his money and not deal with the legal system.
Yeah, there'll be a settlement is how it'll go. And I think he'll get most, if not all, of what was left on his deal. That's my guess on how that's all going to shake out. Could Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State leave the Big Ten? One prominent voice around college athletics thinks it might make some sense. We'll get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 0% financing for 36 months, plus $500 off your project. Restrictions apply. Call 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Germain Honda of Dublin cares about your vehicle and your time, and they do that with same-day service with no appointment necessary. Sell them your vehicle at their buying center and get paid as soon as the same day. Shop great lease and finance offers on all the Honda favorites, like the Passport, the Odyssey, and the redesigned Pilot. Service it, sell it, or drive something new. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-718-4040. That's 800-718-4040. 800-718-4040.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. It's the 16th day of Winter Olympic competition. Team USA is third in overall Olympic medal count with 24, third in gold medals with 7. The U.S. women's hockey team plays Canada this afternoon at 1:10 in the gold medal game. On the ice tomorrow at 3:10, USA men's hockey has Slovakia in the semifinals. Winner gets Canada or Finland in Sunday's gold medal game. Sidney Crosby is questionable for Canada in Friday's semifinal due to a lower body injury. Crosby will be reevaluated in the next 12 hours. In college hoops, for the first time this season, the 10th-ranked Ohio State women's squad has taken back-to-back losses. Buckeyes fell at Minnesota last night, 74-61. OSU still 22-5 overall, 11-4 in Big Ten play. They'll play USC Sunday at the Shot. The Ohio State men's squad looks to make it 2 wins in a row at number 15 Michigan State Sunday at 1. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com.
The best hair on the air. You are listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Thursday edition of the program. Aaron Portzline coming up in 29 minutes on the 2 classic games we saw yesterday. The Jackets back on the ice and what the next week looks like for them as they kind of have a second training camp is my hunch, the way they're going to kind of run that thing. Between now and then, though, we talked on this a little bit yesterday. This is Dan Wetzel. He appeared on the College Game Day podcast with Reese Davis, and they talked about the possibility of Ohio State, Michigan, and even Penn State leaving the Big Ten to do their own thing. Let's have a listen.
I've heard estimates that Ohio State-Michigan game alone is worth $200 million in terms of media rights, sponsorship, all the stuff. That's $100 million for each school. That's more than they make in the entire Big Ten. The Big Ten pays them like $78 million. If you had this one game as independents or in a little group, and then we throw in the Ohio State-Penn State game and the Michigan-Penn State game, and maybe we add a couple of these others, and then you take all your other, you go play in the MAC for your other leagues or whatever you want to schedule out.
He loses you a little bit with the go play in the MAC and however you want to schedule it out. This is the root of this, though, goes back to a conversation we were having earlier in regard to Ted Carter and conversations about diluting the Ohio State brand and Ohio State taking care of itself. I do think that we are entering into a new era. I think we've already entered into it, where Ted Carter and Ross Bjork are flexing in a way that maybe others haven't here in terms of being great partners. One thing that Ohio State really prided itself on for the majority of the last 30 years where all of this has gone nuclear is that they're great partners, that they're there for the Big Ten. Yes, sir, may I have another? What do you need us to do? You need us to play a bunch of Big Noon? Fine, we'll play a bunch of Big Noon. You want us to co-sign the additions of Rutgers and Maryland and Nebraska and the West Coast schools? Okay, fine, we'll do it. We'll be good teammates, and we'll do it. We are not Texas to the Big 12, where Texas essentially wrecked the Big 12 by demanding to be paid and compensated more. I do think that last part I just mentioned is going to change. I do think when this new television agreement is done between the Big Ten and their television partners, if it is indeed Fox and CBS and NBC, and they try running some variety of that back, that you will see Ohio State compensated more richly than the dregs of this league. You will see Michigan compensated more richly than the bottom of the Big Ten. I don't know if Penn State is a brand on that level. I don't know if they're in, my hunch is they're not in the league of Ohio State and Michigan. And I don't think that there's anybody else in the Big Ten that is in that Ohio State-Michigan league where they could say, we demand more. Quite honestly, as it stands right now, in the sport that matters most, Indiana, you saw what they did from a rating standpoint. They just won the national championship. They certainly had the country behind them. Oregon would certainly feel like that. They feel like a team that a lot of people watch when they're on. I don't know if USC is still that or not.
But this notion of Ohio State going at it alone for football. I remember when they launched the Longhorn Network. And I remember talking about this with AR a lot. And at the time, at 10 TV, we also had the Ohio News Network, which was a cable channel that was on cable boxes all over the state. And we had this cable entity. And it was a news entity at the time. They were primarily a news entity at the time. And we did the high school football championships, and we did crew games and those type of things. And we had a bunch of original programming that I helped create. And those were on 4 days a week, 5 days a week. We had those on during the week. But primarily it was a news operation. And I remember thinking to myself, there is probably only one entity that could truly do the Longhorn Network. And it's probably Ohio State. If they would have done it 15 years ago, they probably could have done it. And if that network had all of the non-revenues, a handful, one football game, the way the Longhorn Network did, a handful of basketball games, a dozen basketball games, that entity, unlike the Longhorn Network, would be wildly popular. Because the difference between Texas and Ohio State is there are a great many people in the state of Texas who hate the University of Texas. Yes, they're the biggest, but everybody else hates them. There is not a big swath of the public in this state who hate the Buckeyes. There isn't. They could have done it. They're probably the one entity that could have, and there would have been money behind it. They never did because they were always team players. And I think now it's too late to revisit it. We're just consuming our things differently. But I do think that the brand stands on its own. And I do think it's something that, will they show their might and flex to the Big Ten? I do. Do I think they'll ever get to a point where they bail? That doesn't seem likely now.
And it'll be flexed behind closed doors. Like it'll never be, they'll never be in a public spat like you saw with Kirby Smart and Greg Sankey. You'll never hear anything from Ryan Day about Big Ten brass. You'll never hear anything from Ross Bjork about Big Ten brass, Ted Carter. Similarly, they're all going to do it behind, if they have grievances, if they have anything they want to air, it'll be done behind closed doors. It'll be done in phone conversations, probably in situations where you can't even get the public records for, because they want to seem outwardly as hand-in-hand as possible. That's the way it's always been for Ohio State and for the Big Ten, and there's no reason to make me believe that's going to change in the future. So, yeah, I sit here and I go, man, there still could be time. Like Ohio State could just say, you know what, to hell with Rutgers, to hell with Maryland, to hell with Nebraska, to hell with UCLA and their inability to figure out finances in the athletic department. Like, to hell with a lot of these schools, because you don't do anything, but you command the same kind of money that we do, and the money that could be made from what Dan Wetzel was saying with Ohio State and Michigan could be used to help with your 36 varsity sports. But it won't happen.
And I don't think there was ever a time, Reese, that was shown more than last year's Big Ten Media Days, where Tony Petitti got up there and he said his mission, and Ryan Day and every other coach in the Big Ten got right behind him and joined him in lockstep with all of that, whether they agreed with it or not. And, Bo, we've talked about it on this program forever. We just wish Ohio State would throw their weight around a little bit sometimes. Like, it's one thing to be a good soldier, but you're carrying not only all of your 36 sports, but you have, for the most part, with maybe Michigan and a few others, carried the Big Ten.
Yeah.
For a damn long time. And eventually you need to say, hey, what about us? What's best for us in what we are doing?
The good news is I think they're doing that now. And I think when the new television deal comes out, remember the big flirtation with private equity that Michigan and USC shot down? We were going to get more. We're going to get more. And I think when the new television contract comes out, Ohio State is going to make sure that they get more. I think the days of equal split, 18 teams were all the same, there's no difference between Purdue and Ohio State, they're done. I think that's done. And I think that you will have leadership here now that will have demands that need to be answered. And I'm glad you brought that up, Bake. And Reese, it's a great point on you about how the behind closed doors. And then, Bake, your point on, yes, last year at Big Ten Media Days. As Reese was talking, I wrote down in Sharpie 2014 playoff. You remember Ryan getting on a podium and talking about how we need to expand the playoff to 24? Why in the hell does Ohio State need a 24-team playoff? If it were 16, we did this. I don't remember it exactly, but I remember doing this in November. If it were a 16-team playoff, Ohio State, over the last 50 years, would have made the playoff something like 46 times. If it were the top 16 teams. The 2014 playoff is not an Ohio State issue. Ohio State, I'm worried about that. It's an Iowa issue. If Luke gets it figured out, it's a Wisconsin issue. It's a Nebraska issue. It's a Michigan State issue. It's a USC issue. It's not a Buckeye issue. It's not a Michigan issue. It's not an Oregon issue. Not an Indiana issue right now. It's for the bottom of it. So why do these coaches come out and carry water for bad Big Ten ideas? For whatever reason, they just always have. They always have. And I think Reese's point, though, is what you said about this is happening behind closed doors, 100% that is. Fact. Happening. And it will be different going forward. I don't know if you'll ever see a split, though, as long as you have athletic departments that are this big. Because what Dan is talking about here of, going at it alone and getting $200 million from the Ohio State-Michigan game. Hell, I could see a situation where Ohio State and Michigan say, hey, we're going to negotiate our own deal for the Ohio State-Michigan game.
They could pull that.
Why couldn't they, right?
They should.
Yeah.
Highest bidder. Let's go.
Yeah. We're going to pull it out of the inventory. That's not Big Ten inventory anymore. That's Ohio State and Michigan. We own the game. Ohio State and Michigan own the game. And we're going to sell it independently.
When you're going to expand the playoff, you're going to get rid of conference championship games.
Yep.
Like everything becomes kind of open for bidding.
Yes.
Let me retract my statement. Highest bidder that's going to keep it at noon. I don't want highest bidder that's moving it to 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
If it's a $25 million difference, Ohio State will go.
You're right. You're right.
They'll move, and they should.
And maybe, guys, maybe we stumble into something here. Maybe that's how Ohio State, Alabama is saved. Maybe that's how these are saved. These games are saved, is you start negotiating your own. Okay, we have a 12-game schedule, Ohio State. 8 of the games are part of the Big Ten television package. These 4, we're selling independently. We're going to sell the Texas game when it's here. We'll sell the Michigan game. We're going to sell Oregon. We're going to sell Penn State because Franklin's not there, and we'll hopefully get back to playing Penn State every year. We're going to sell those 4 ourselves. What's that worth?
Is there a world where the Buckeyes do a Buckeye network like the Texas did a few years ago?
Well, I outlined that, and I said they should have done that 15 years ago. I just don't know that that's still doable in today's day and age. That's the only thing I don't know. But I mean, we talked about that with O&N 15 years ago. And when they did Longhorn Network, I said this, the reason that Texas didn't work is because a lot of people in Texas hate Texas.
Yeah. There's not
a lot of
big
people,
schools.
Right. Ohio, nobody hates the Buckeyes other than Michigan expats. That's it. So, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe you take these a la carte. You take a couple of games every year and you go a la carte. Fine, you can have 9. Heck, take 10 of our games. But Ohio State, Michigan, we're selling on its own. And every year that we play a big non-conference game, we're selling that on its own. Because all of a sudden, it's a lot easier to play Ohio State, Alabama if that's a $40 million check in your pocket.
And you can always kind of double back and be like, we'll just leave.
They have all the power, Reese. They have all the power in this thing. Speaking of all the power, for the longest time, Tiger Woods had all the power in golf. Will we ever see him at a major again? He hinted that perhaps. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And of course, you know me. I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Are you starting to get recognized from these ads, Wilson?
Yep. Folks are really liking the idea of home-changing windows and superior performance and 5 different lines to fit any budget.
That kind of sounds like Pella's thing.
Oh, yeah, it is. They recognize me, but then they ask for your business card. So, that's neat.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Let's get it. Good hustle, good hustle.
2 things: communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right coverage. It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself. All right? Wildcats on 3. 1, 2, 3, Wildcats!
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
This tax season, save your refund. Get a 2026 Tucson or Santa Fe at 0% for 60 months and make no payments for 90 days. Columbus or Dublin or glexhyundai.com. See dealer for details. Offer ends through 2.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Hi, the Scott Antique Markets are back again at the Ohio Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. The market is one weekend monthly, November through March. Build your family heirlooms. You can find everything that gets old. Just take I-71 to exit 111 to enjoy America's favorite treasure hunt. Visit thescottantiquemarket.com for more information. Come join us at the Ohio Expo Center for the Scott Antique Markets. It's huge. It's the Scott Antique Markets this weekend.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby, reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton. ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at onnradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are tracking mostly cloudy skies and highs up into the lower 60s here once again. However, we are also tracking some showers and thunderstorms developing here for this afternoon and evening. A few of those storms could be strong to severe, with some hail and wind being the primary threats here as we head into tonight. Windy and colder Friday coming our way as highs will be in the 50s in the morning. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Darren White here on 97.1 The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. After putting up with Tom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Genesis Invitational starts today, right? They were at Pebble last week, and they're at Riviera today. On that. This is the tournament that Tiger hosts now. He's hosted several. For a long time, he hosted one at Congressional around 4th of July weekend, but he's been at this one for a while now. This is the one where he had the accident, right? Car accident was on the Monday after that Monday morning.
I believe that's correct, leaving the Genesis.
Yeah. And, kind of forever changed, maybe his ability to get back at a high level and play again. He is a 50-year-old man.
He looked it too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting there, brother. We'll all be there sooner than we want to admit. But the notion of him playing competitive golf at a high level again has been something that I've given up on probably quite a while ago at this point. I'm very thankful that we got the Masters Championship, that my kids were old enough to be able to see it. But the idea of him contending again, it doesn't seem very likely. Go ahead, Reese.
Yeah, my hopes he's in Columbus 4th of July weekend for the senior U.S. Open. Like, do that.
More on that in a second.
I could see him doing that because his reverence for Jack.
Hell yeah.
He was asked if he would play the Masters, and then we'll get back to that. Go ahead.
I've had a fuse back and now a disc replacement, so it's challenging. And I entered a new decade, so that number is starting to sink in, and thinking about the opportunity to be able to play, in a cart. So that's something that I've, as I said, I won't do out here on this tour because I don't believe in it. But on the Champions Tour, that's certainly maybe a certain opportunity.
Do you have a target yet?
I don't.
Is the Masters off the table for you?
No.
Well, that's the money line right there, right? And I guess what you're hoping for at this point, it's hard to believe that this is where Tiger Woods is, but Father Time is undefeated.
He's 50.
He's 50 years old. Yeah. Now, Phil won the PGA at Kiowa.
51, I believe.
Because he got super svelte. Like, he lost a ton of weight and got, the best shape of his life.
For sure. And he didn't have all the other issues that Tiger had over the last 15 years plus. So you can do it. And I do think if he were able to get healthy enough to contend again, it would be at Augusta just because he knows the place so well. He knows exactly where to hit it. The equipment is such that he doesn't have that much of a disadvantage in terms of, and the ball is such that the equipment isn't such a disadvantage that he wouldn't be able to still score there. So if there is a place for him to be successful, it'd be there. We do live in a world where Tom Watson had a chance to win the British Open. This has been a while, but he was well into his 50s and a chance to win the British Open. The one Stuart Sink won, he went to the tee at the 18th and had a chance to win the British Open. And I want to say he was in his mid-50s when that was there. So you can still do it. Those are the two places. It would be the Open Championship, where you have to play a different way and kind of think your way around that course, not just bomb it. And I think it would be at Augusta. I think those would be the two places to do it. This is the first time I'll be candid with you, I'm not listening to every press conference he ever has or paying attention to every tweet or however he's communicating with his fans. But this is the first time that I've heard him seem like he's open and willing to play on the Champions Tour.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before from him. Have you?
I don't remember it, and I never thought Tiger Woods would play on the Champions Tour. And I think, unfortunately for him and all of us, the accident you talked about at the Genesis has maybe put us in that position. I know there are more things. He's had a bunch of surgeries on his back even before that car wreck and whatnot. But, yeah, he was one that I never thought would play on the Champions Tour. I thought he was going to compete on the PGA Tour as long as he could, although I think he knows he can't compete week in and week out anymore.
No. And you're talking about fused back, and did he say, I got a new disc? Is that what he said? No, they could do that?
I mean, he tore up his knee, right, too?
Yeah, almost lost his leg in the car accident. No, it's not very likely. So, to your point about, so the U.S. Senior Open is at Scioto?
Yeah.
It's an iconic track. Boy, that'd be cool.
The only thing I would think maybe not on that is he going to try to play the U.S. Open 2 weeks before? And would that be too much?
Where's the U.S. Open this year?
So the U.S. Open is at Shinnecock.
Okay.
So it'd be way too much. So if he plays at Shinnecock, he's not coming to Columbus.
But the one thing nice about the Senior Open is he could use the cart.
Yeah.
So that could help him a little.
And Scioto's a small track. What I mean by that is it's confined.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not the walk that some of these places are. You know, you start walking around Bethpage, you start walking around. I've not been to Shinnecock, but I have to imagine that's
There's not a quarter mile between holes.
No, you don't have any of that. I mean, like just the walk at Oakmont. You guys have been to Oakmont. I mean, it's on two sides of a freeway. It's a big walk at some of these joints. Pebble is a big one. So, you know, that's the other part of it. It'd be unbelievable if he played here. The synergy of him playing at the place where Jack learned, that's as cool as it gets. That's as cool as it gets. And we are so lucky here. We never take for granted the fact that Jack Nicklaus is born in Columbus and what that has meant to Ohio golf, what the Memorial Tournament has meant to Ohio golf. The idea that we got to a front row seat, if you're old enough, to Jack's greatness, and if you are anywhere in the last 25 years to Tiger's, and you were at Memorial when Tiger was there at his peak, that's as close to a rock concert as you're going to find. When he was there at his peak and he was winning that thing, you couldn't count the people that were following him on that course.
And there weren't a lot on other holes either.
No, he was. There's that great line that in Game of Thrones where Daenerys Targaryen says, "I don't want to be a spoke on a wheel. I want to break the wheel." Tiger Woods broke the wheel. He transcended the sport. We throw that around a lot. Athletes who transcend. No, he was bigger than the tour. Him not going to live for $1 billion probably sunk live. Because who would have followed him had he gone for $1 billion? Who would have followed him? All of them. All of them would have. That's the other part about Tiger from a leadership standpoint, and him sticking with the PGA Tour, even though he is not the same player, he has influenced guys like Rory McIlroy to fight that fight, to stay. It's critical over what's happened in the last 5-7 years in golf and how the PGA, and now it looks like Liv's hanging on, but it's certainly not. It hasn't had the growth that I think some people thought it would. Some folks have gotten very rich playing on it. But we already have Brooks back. Who's the guy nobody likes that's coming back? Guy who won the Masters.
Is Bryson?
No, not yet. He's not. No, there's a guy who won the Masters who's from Georgia. Nobody likes him. That's coming back in August.
You're not talking about...
I can picture his face.
You're not talking about Pat Perez, are you?
No, God.
Patrick Reed?
Pat Perez did... Who?
Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed's coming back. Yeah, he's coming back in August.
I didn't even see that news.
Yeah, he's coming back in August. So Bryson's contract has one more year on it. And then, who knows what happens from that. But that's one of those what ifs. Like if Tiger bolts, I don't know if the PGA Tour survives.
It's funny you said Georgia and I thought the country?
No, just the state. Just the state.
Bo, I don't know why. Maybe it's just nostalgia. Mm-hmm. I do believe that there's going to be a Sunday in the next couple years at the Masters where Tiger's in contention.
I do
where
too.
You're thinking about it, and it's going to be wild, and it's going to bring back memories of 2019 all over again. And I know it's almost physically impossible with him, but I just do believe there's going to be a time. The old, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once. Like, I just think that's going to happen on a Sunday. And I don't even think he's going to win it, but he's going to be there, and the golf world is going to be a buzz.
I think you're 100% right. I think it's at that place. You know why I think it's at that it'll happen? And I agree with everything you just said. Freddie Couples. How many times in the last 15 years has Freddie Couples been in the top 4 on the leaderboard going into a Sunday at Augusta?
Jose Maria Olazabal is always has 2 great rounds there. Yeah. What's the Miguel Angel, whatever his name is, Jimenez.
Oh yeah,
he's
the most
had some
interesting
great.
man.
Yeah, he's had some great runs there.
You can do it, and it's at that place because there is precision and course knowledge that is required. Yeah, I don't think we're not. I think that what Couples is the best one to me because I feel like he's done it like a handful of times over the last 15 years where he goes into the final round within sniffing distance of the lead. I think he was even in a final pairing maybe 10 years ago, well into his 50s. AR would know this for sure. But I could see it. I don't think he's going to win it, but I could see it. We are headed for USA Canada. They both got by barely yesterday. Porty on the ice, and the Jackets return in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day. My toilet's clogged, backed up too. The sink is running slow. Water's backed up everywhere. Oh, please don't overflow.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free. Guaranteed.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
It's Timmy Hall here stepping in for the common man. You see, he decided to go to Italy when his Germain spot was due. Must be nice. You know what else is nice? Germain's month-long President's Day sale at all the locations listed at GoGermain.com. This month, all qualified pre-owned vehicles come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty. On top of the $1,000 price promise, no one will sell you a car for less. Nearly 4,000 vehicles, 30 brands, one website. You can only find the savings and that warranty at GoGermain.com. Hope you enjoyed your cured meats, common man.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time to on that Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Conversation with a great friend of the program, great friend in general, the great Aaron Portzline, covers the Jackets at The Athletic. So we've talked a lot about how the NHL teams are trying to manage this and this break and kind of a new training camp. What has it been like for you covering it? Because you're in a rhythm, right? You start hockey season like all of us do, and then you wake up and it's over and it's gone in a blink sometimes. Sometimes it feels like forever, but then all of a sudden you kind of have this break in between. How has this landed for you, bud?
Well, Aruba was great.
Good then. It landed quite well.
Yeah. You know what? It's like you're on such a treadmill that it takes a couple days to sort of get used to still ground. And now, so we're back at it. Obviously, now the team started skating yesterday, and you're like, it was 7 in a row that they won, right? 7 in a row, okay,
right.
And they're 4 back, and you just sort of, oh God, that's right. And was it back-to-back shutouts at the end, or like that sort of stuff? Like, because it seems like it seems like a long time ago. And it was such a hectic schedule. And when this thing picks back up again, they've got 17 games in 30 days. And that's what makes this week and the first half of next week so important is it's practice time. We all know Allen Iverson's great comments. It applies, but there is no time to practice in March. None. There will be no practices in March, just morning skates. There's one span in the entire month with back-to-back days without a game. Which is insane. So buckle up.
How is Bonus? Is it like a training camp?
It is to him. He's referred to it as a mini camp. I mean, actually, he just calls it camp. But and think about it. When he jumped right on the treadmill here when he got hired, And there were things he wanted to do, big things he wanted to do when he got here, things he thought he could change that would make them better. And some of those have been put into play. But I think, and he's admitted this, so I don't think I know, that the way that they've played and some of the things that they were doing, he's sort of allowed himself, I think this is a sign of a good coach, to say, this is working. This works this way. We don't have to change too much, make too many drastic changes, but he's got this thing mapped out. They'll practice 6 times in 8 days. Yesterday and today are kind of, they're working, and there's a lot of skating. There'll be a lot of tired guys after this. The really tough practices are going to be 3, 4, and 5. So Saturday, Sunday, they'll be off Monday, and then Tuesday. Those are all going to be really difficult practices because he wants them geared up, revved up, and on their toes for those games the rest of the way. And it starts, Bo, as you know, right away. The two teams that they trail are Boston for the wild card and the Islanders for the Metro, and those just happen to be their first 2 opponents coming out of the break.
Well, and the other thing that's going to happen with all this is all going to get, it's all going to, you mentioned 17 games, 30 days. You got a trade deadline coming. Right. You had some availability on that front. What did you glean kind of from that conversation with Don in terms of the way that they'll approach the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, kind of a surprise to me, but leverage is how important leverage is, and the dance here. The players all want the GM to step forward with offers first. There's the March 6th trade deadline. What will they do with these guys? I think the first order of business from him was to find out from these guys. I think with Jenner and Goodbranson, who are just ingrained in this city and this franchise, that yes, they want to stay here. It doesn't mean they're going to get extensions or reach new contract terms, certainly by March 6th. But the guys you wonder about on that end are Charlie Coyle and Mason Marchment. And both of them have expressed to him and also expressed to me publicly, I think that story just posted like an hour ago, that they like what they see here. Charlie Coyle thinks he can win here, and they want to stick around. So that's sort of the first hurdle. Like, there's no sense talking term and money if a player doesn't look around and think that this is a place you'd like to stay. So I suspect that it's going to be a lot of moving parts going up to that March 6th deadline. Are they going to sign? Are they going to keep guys if they're not signed? I think Don Waddell wants to keep this band together. I think Coyle and Marchment are the priorities to get signed. I think they feel more comfortable with Jenner and Goodbranson going after March 6th without deals. But I think there's a lot of things to keep in mind here as we near the deadline.
So then beyond that, Porty, I think, fans are saying, all right, are we going to go for this? And typically go for it means, do you go look for help in places? For two-parter, number one, do you think that they will be aggressive in improving the roster from outside? They've already done that, of course, as the season's gone along. They've already made some deals. And then the other part of that is that the right thing to do at this point in time with this team? Like, how important is getting in?
Well, I mean, I think every year you would say it's important to get in. I think this year, yes, it's really, really important with a bunch of these young guys on the roster. And this is one of Bonus's favorite topics. They think they've got a good collection of players here, a good young collection of players here. I'm talking about Fantilli, Marchenko, Ken Johnson, Sillinger, all those guys you've heard so much about, Matejchuk. You got to find out what these guys are like when the games mean everything. And nothing creates that quite like the playoffs. It would be an incredible experience for them, for the players and for the team to see how these guys handle it. I think the larger point that Waddell likes to make is with the size of this team, we all know that size becomes much more important in the postseason, especially defensive size. Look at the teams that have won in recent years. You have to be big and very physical on the back end. So I think they feel like this is a team that could be a difficult team to play in 7 games because of their depth of scoring, their size, all of those things. But I think they're going to do everything they can to get into the playoffs. I think even if they keep all 4 of those UFAs, that Don Waddell may still be a buyer. And I think this won't surprise anybody, but it's a name to keep in mind. Nick Foligno, the former captain. He's the UFA. He's in Chicago. They're not making the playoffs. As a depth guy, certainly not a guy that you promise top. He's going to be in your lineup every night. But Nick Foligno returning to the Blue Jackets would be a hell of a story. It could be a guy that could really help them in the postseason if they go, beyond the first round or even get in.
Well, he's just simply put one of the best guys ever, too. So that helps when you have that part of it. He's completely beloved here. Yesterday was fun. I don't know if it was fun for the guys on the ice with Canada and America, but that was fun. Both those games go to overtime. I cannot imagine the pressure on those two teams, and yet they're one step closer. What have you made of Olympic hockey to this point? And if we get what my hunch is, they both got it out of their system in terms of the nervy game, and that you'll see those two in the gold medal game on Sunday. What have you made of it, and how do you handicap, if it is in fact what we get is USA Canada on Sunday morning? How do you handicap that one?
Yeah, I mean, God, I think the one thing that is different for Team USA is the presence of Quinn Hughes, who was not there for the Four Nations. I think that changes things on their back end, just the mobility, right? I mean, the way that between he and Werenski, God, what a pair. Right? Like, come on. It feels like you're cheating, frankly. Yeah. So that changes things a bit there. I'm fascinated by which team wins bronze, because you would not have expected either of these two, frankly. The Slovakians especially. I mean, though their goalie, the Slovakian goalie, has 5 wins in 19 starts in the American Hockey League this year.
Jeez.
Right? And he's played out of his mind in this tournament. It's been awesome. But, it's Canada, it's USA. It's kind of what everybody expected, but it's never that easy to get there. And, it'll be like getting up for the Wimbledon final, 8 a.m. on a weekend day, get up, and there it is live in all of its glory from Italy.
And the collective I can imagine the sport. You just think about Sydney walking off and kind of limping into the locker room. Like, that's the fear of all of it. But it sounds like like he could be okay. So I guess, and he's having an unbelievable year. They're way ahead of what people thought. So there's just so many layers to it.
Yes. And does Werenski come back with a gold medal, right? Yeah. I mean, so arguably the best player for Team USA in the Four Nations. I think he's been really good in the Olympics. He's had some games where he has dominated. But Quinn Hughes has started to overshadow him a bit, certainly with that game he played in the quarterfinal. I think you're going to see great hockey, because these are the games where it's just completely emptied out. The tank is completely emptied. And it's an NHL-sized rink, so it feels more like an NHL game. And you've got guys on the fourth line who would be on the first line on a lot of teams. The pace will be out of your mind. But having said that, they got to get through. And Olympic hockey's shown us many, many times that the semifinals are not easy to predict.
Certainly not. And there's a one thing we love about the sport is there is a not make sense of it. Puck luck, whatever. Sometimes crazy things happen, and who knows. Great talking to you, brother, as always, and we'll do it again soon. Thanks for your time.
All right. Same to you, buddy. Thanks for having me.
There he goes. Aaron Portzline covering the Jackets and the NHL at an expert level at The Athletic. Get you 3 things on a Thursday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
This Buckeye Football Impact Report is brought to you locally by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Ohio State football Impact Report.
All are familiar with the great standard that's been set at Ohio State with wide receivers, at least over those several years since Ryan Day has become the head coach. They add a couple of new ones, hoping to keep that standard up, and the head coach talks about Chris Henry Jr. and Jaquaden Guilford.
Chris and Jaquaden, they're really talented, as we know. So, again, when you look at sort of the last couple of groups we've had, we have some really good young players. We have some guys that are kind of making that transition as sophomore, juniors. Then we have some older guys. And so sort of how we've put that together is so that you have a mix of all of those, which isn't always perfect, but that's what we have in this room.
And certainly that's a group that will be complemented along with those who return. Brandon Ennis and, of course, Jeremiah Smith, and they'll work with new wide receivers coach Cortez Hankton, who replaces Brian Hartline. This report brought to you by Safelite Auto Glass. This is Paul Keels, and you're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield. Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone, like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through March 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on any new 26 Highlander or Grand Highlander, including hybrid models, with approved credit through TFS. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, 2 years no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
At the Waterworks, we mean clean, which means we don't just clear your drain, we actually clean it. Get your drains good as new with the Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Our double hung is as good as it gets. There's something really simple. It's called an interlock. We interlock our windows. The interlock is the absolute best way to alleviate air infiltration. With the interlock, it's harder to break into. When you interlock the sashes, it makes a better window. It's just a darn good window, and we're very proud of it.
Call Rizzotti today at 777-4806.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Select 12-pack cans of Coca-Cola, 6-pack bottles of Pepsi, or 18 packs of Gatorade, or buy 3, get 3 free with your card. Limit 12. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey everybody, it's Jeremy Birmingham Berm from the Austin and Berm Show on 97.1 The Fan. I hit maintenance mode after dropping 35 pounds with Awaken 180. The Awaken 180 coaches made it simple. Now pizza and ice cream are back, but the cravings aren't. That's a complete mindset shift. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do you have on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll asks, are you excited for MLB spring training to get underway tomorrow?
Woo!
35% can't wait. 25% say they will be on opening day, which is no. And the 38% don't care at all.
So the wording on that should have been, are you excited for the start of spring training?
Yes or no.
There you go. Then you get.
Here we are. Top men. Top marks.
You got to get the top men on that. Are we? It does feel like they're headed for labor. Is it 2027?
Yeah, the CBA expires, I think, before Christmas.
It's the most powerful union. The problem with it is if you do, I think all of the owners want a salary cap, but they don't want the salary floor. So you can't have one without the other, can
Bryce
you?
Harper wants to fight you if you suggest a salary cap.
Yeah. And so, okay, fine. Have a salary cap, but then you got to have a salary floor. Is it the Marlins whose payroll is like $8?
Yeah.
This year?
Theirs isn't much. I don't know the exact number, but
I was en route, and I was reading in one of I picked up, I can't remember if it was Wall Street Journal or one of the papers at the newsstand, and I like having a physical paper sometimes on a plane. And I was reading this story about how they had to sign free agents to just get to a minimum requirement.
Yeah, Spotrac says the Marlins are at $78 million.
I mean,
Guardians are much better.
Start
$94 million.
Are the Marlins the lowest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's the Guardians, and there are only two teams under the $100 million threshold.
Less than the Athletics for the Guards?
Yeah, the Athletics $131 million, so they're actually 20th of all 30 Major League Baseball teams. So it's like the Brewers.
That sucks, by the way, that they weren't spending in Oakland to get out of there, and now they're in Sacramento, headed to Vegas, and now they're spending.
Try to get people to show up.
Absolutely. Yep. That's bad form.
I wonder if the reworked Jose Ramirez contract changed that a little bit, because I believe the Guardians were supposed to be in the 108 to 115 range before that. So I wonder if that restructuring did anything for them.
Kick some cash down the road.
What's the Dodgers number?
390.
Yeah, that's similar.
They're competing for the same thing, didn't you know? Marlins and the Dodgers, both an NL pennant.
6X spending.
Maybe we should be talking about this more than private versus public in high school.
Holy smokes! Time for three things on a Thursday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Final youth basketball tournament of the weekend is this weekend, and they did something that in all the years I've done youth hoops, I've never seen this. We actually played preliminary rounds yesterday for Bootsy's grade, and then we'll play in bracket play on Sunday. So had 2 games yesterday, really competitive games, barely made it. They tipped at 5:15, which is really difficult for folks to try to get to. We're able to get there, get it. And I got to give some props to my boy Bootsy. He hit a massive 3 with about 50 seconds left to tie it. Our second game, we ended up winning by 2. It was his first ever in-game 3, and it came with us down 3 with about 45 seconds left. So good job on the baby boy Bootsy on that one. But it's crazy. I can't believe we're already here where we're done with youth hoops, but it's all done this weekend.
So in reading, that made me depressed to look at the total spending of 30 Major League Baseball teams, and the Guardians are 29th. In 2028, David Blitzer has the option to purchase the majority share of the team from the Dolans. Now, he owns the 76ers of the NBA, or his ownership group has the 76ers in the NBA and the Devils of the NHL. The Philadelphia 76ers are 13th in NBA spending, and I'm looking for the Devils, and I'll try to get that here in a sec, but the idea that I think help is on the way if you're a Guardians fan wanting your ownership to spend in 2028.
2028 is when they have the option?
Yeah.
It's crazy because the Dolans don't have any money. You didn't know that, did you, Reese?
No idea.
They don't have any money.
No, none.
First thing for me, I saw this. 2 Georgia linebackers, Chris Cole and Darren Akinabon, were arrested overnight and charged with reckless driving and speeding in Athens.
Sakes. Really?
Like, when is enough is enough? When does somebody step in here and hold Kirby Smart or someone accountable for this? Like, somebody's already died in all of this mess with these guys driving crazy. When does somebody step in here and say, all right, guys, we've got to take accountability of this. We've got to do something, because this is a danger to society in Georgia with these guys.
We need to get, I'm going to make this my second. We need to get somebody on. Now, it's probably too, I just want to know I lived in the South for 6 years. And I don't remember people drag racing. Like, is it something that is just happening in Athens, where guys are drag racing in Athens? Like, what is it about Athens that this is something that happens over and over and over again and has such incredible tragedy?
Well, I do remember one time driving and getting south of Kentucky, and if you weren't going 85, you were getting ran off the freeway.
That happens on the Pennsylvania Turnpike as well. But just in terms of, like, what is it about that area that these guys want to do this so much for? It's crazy.
Second thing for me, I'm just perusing Twitter. Jeff Goodman has this tweet, and I'm going to give as much context as I can. I don't have much. NCAA President Charlie Baker on the eligibility issues. Quote, "There's no issue that's gotten the attention of Congress more than this one." End quote.
It's great.
Because that's important.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck.
Second thing for me, I did something yesterday I've never done before, and I'm hoping that it's going to work out here. I've never messed with heating and cooling at all. I've owned my condo for 11 years plus now, and I've had a few maintenance things done on the heating and cooling over time, but the heater was not working right this week, so I went in there, I watched some videos, I figured some things out. I changed some things around yesterday. So we're going to see here when I get home tonight if the heating and cooling is working or if I'm going to have to call in a professional and spend a lot of money.
That's a man's got to know his limitations issue there, Bake. I hope that you figured it out, buddy. Number 3 for me quickly. Night of the Seven Kingdoms' most recent episode was awesome. The teaser for the Dragon show looks great. I'm back. I'm all back in on Thrones. Good job out of them. The Dragon and the Night of the Seven Kingdoms is awesome. It's a fun watch.
Co-sign the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and that season finale is going to be great. Not sure about the Dragon show. The New Jersey Devils that David Blitzer owns, the 6th highest spending team in the National Hockey League. So 2028.
Hope is on the horizon.
Because 2027, they're not playing baseball.
Don't go anywhere. Rothman and Ice coming up next. They'll talk some college hoops with Dan Dockich at 1:30 and some Olympics hockey again. Their buddy Brad Larson going to join them at 2.
That's fun. That's fun. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say.